Well, there goes the Daverhood. Happy almost Hanukkah, everybody, and welcome to the 1011th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the Stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz. My darling and adorable wife will be joining us in a bit. And thank you, of course, all for joining us here live on this Saturday morning, December 13th, 2025. So, yes, as you can see, it's Hanukkah time. Well, tomorrow night. We started early. We even had a Hanukkah story last week. But this week, all sorts of fun on the Dave's Gone By program. And we'll tell you what's going to be on it and so forth. We have, of course, not only our menorah handy as needed, with plastic candles as they were 2,000 years ago when the holiday began. And then, what else do we have? We just got this. We showed this to you last week, but here it is. The official Hanukkah menorah, which we're not going to light it on the show because we don't want a fire hazard, but notice it is a menorah in the shape of a banana, which is why it has so much appeal. Thank you very much. So, yeah, we got that. We're going to do not everything entirely Hanukkah just for the holiday, but we are looking forward to celebrating, it with you. Might just play a dreidel game. Not with you, you'll watch us do it. And then we have some of our usual segments on the program. For example, yes, we will have Greeley Times. We have that every week. It's based on a column that appears every week in the Greeley Tribune newspaper in northern Colorado. And it's absolutely factual stuff. It's people who call in to the Weld County Police Department in northern Co. and complain that something weird or messed up is happening in the neighborhood. They want the police to check it out. The police, either the dispatcher just takes the info or they actually do send cops over. The funniest ones go into the paper. The funniest ones of those go into our weekly segment called Greeley Times. And then we also, what do we have today? We have for the holiday, Rabbi Sol Solomon, of course, who has been with us since our very first episode 24 plus years ago. Rabbi Sol, he's going to be playing a big part for obvious reasons in this episode of the show. First of all, he will, as he did last week, will favor us with story time. He'll be reading a real actual book, a Hanukkah story. This one this week, Mendel's Hanukkah Mess Up. Yes, what could be more Jewish than reading the story about someone who's guilty and upset about something? I don't know, I haven't read it. Rabbi Sol will be reading the children's book, Mendel's Hanukkah Mess Up, for story time on this episode of the show. Rabbi Sol will not necessarily, he won't be done there. He also has a rabbinical reflection. Now, many years ago, Rabbi Sol did a reflection about Hanukkah. He's done at least one, maybe two of them, and we'll probably dig them up this week to share with you on our Facebook feed. But his latest is not about the holiday at all. It actually is about news that came down the pike about a week ago about the European song contest called Eurovision. If you're American, you probably haven't even heard of this thing, or just barely. The only reason I think I know about it is because Monty Python used to goof on it and play ridiculous fake Euro trash Eurovision songs. I don't know if Bounce Up and Down on My Spring was one of them. It's a great song. But anywho, Rabbi Sol is going to have a mini sermon, like a 5-6 minute sermon about Eurovision. It's not like Eurovision is taking place right now. They're making the rules, they're making the decisions, and they're figuring out who's in, who's out. And count them, 4 countries decided that they were out this year on the basis of not that they didn't have a song to, or they were embarrassed at the song that they were going to plug and try and put in the competition. No, these 4 countries, which are, do I have them in front of me? They're not Croatia, sorry. It's Slovenia, Ireland, Spain, and then there was one more. Happy to be forgetting them because they're anti-Israel, and they said, well, as long as Israel is included and accepted in Eurovision, we're pulling out. We're pulling our sponsorship out, which can be a lot of money, and we're not going to compete, and we're not going to pay attention as long as evil Israel is in Eurovision. So those 4 countries pulled out, and as a matter of fact, just a day ago, I think Iceland also joined these morons. So Rabbi Sol certainly has some thoughts to share about Eurovision on this episode of the Dave's Gone By show. It is his 199th Rabbinical reflection. He has 198 more of these, not about Eurovision. I think that would be virtually impossible, but about all different subjects in modern life and Jewish life, sometimes just sharing Jewish jokes. If you want to see them, remember he has a website, shalomdammit.com, plus you can find them all on davesgoneby.com. Anywho, so Rabbi Sol on Eurovision, Rabbi Sol reading Mendel's Chanukah mess-up, and most importantly, Rabbi Sol will be interviewing a guest on this show, a Jewish guest, a writer, a playwright, also a television writer, a screenwriter, and more recently, a sort of whimsical poet by the name of Matt Schatz. Make your jokes now. Matt Schatz, who, well, what about, he has the he has the second printing out of his little poetry book called Dramaturgatory Poems for Theater People. And they're very clever, they're very cute. Basically, if you're in the theater game, and especially like a playwright, not like a playwright, like a playwright, who produced for the very first time. So if you are a writer or budding director for live theater, you're going to want to read this book because it's just very short, very cute poems about the struggles of living in New York and trying to be a creative person, as Matt Schatz is. So Matt, actually, he had been in New York. I think he's living in LA now, and he's written poems about that. So Matt Schatz going to be talking to Rabbi Sol Solomon about those poems, also what it has meant for all these years to be a working playwright, screenwriter, story editor out in Hollywood and also out in New York. He has a play reading going on also on January 11th and in Palm Beach. So I'll be talking about that. So yeah, all sorts of Yiddishkeit and Jewishkeit and also writer and creativkeit on this episode of the Dave's Gone By program. So if that weren't enough, and don't you think it ought to be, we will also make time for our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we go to one of the more Jewish areas in Colorado, sort of, Cherry Creek, which is this hoity-toity, ritzy-titsy area, just part of the Denver Central Metro location. Cherry Creek, they've got a very well-known, high-level, high-class shopping mall in Cherry. My wife and I and our friends actually went there years ago, and there was a sports car parked in the middle of like the second floor of the mall. There was a promotion thing. There was a car dealer there, and you were just walking around. I think they were giving away to some incredibly lucky raffle winner this foreign car. It wasn't a Bugatti, but something like that. And there it was. It was that kind of shopping mall in Cherry Creek, Colorado. So if you know this program, you know that I have tried to write a poem about as many places in Colorado as I possibly can and could. And I've been doing this for many years now. Still doing it, trying to come up with one new poem every week about beautiful state of Colorado. Sometimes, most of the time these days, it's these ghost towns that you never heard of because they stopped functioning when the mines shut down in like 1917. But sometimes they go on and they're more recent, long as I can rhyme them, as long as I can create a limerick where, the name of the town rhymes 3 times, and then there's a middle couplet in there that rhymes with itself, and make them disgusting and dirty and funny and silly and sick. That's my job, doing the Colorado limericks of the Damned. So we have that too. All of that going on this Saturday, December 13th, 2025, on this episode of the Dave's Gone By program. So, what I want to get to first, or kind of blather about, before we start getting to some of the segments, including the Matt Schatz and Rabbi Sol interview, happy Hanukkah to you. And I am becoming more and more into, I guess, not the equation of Hanukkah with Christmas. Rabbi Sol has actually done rabbinical reflections about that. But the idea of, our big holiday time celebration too, right, is kind of like when I was growing up back in the 60s and 70s, it was Christmas everywhere, maybe a smidge of Hanukkah, but at the same time, Christmas started, and I've talked about this a million times, somewhere around December 10th, right around now, is when they would put up the Christmas decorations. This is when you start seeing shelves of convenience stores and the big box places and the Targets and the Walmarts and the Walgreenses putting up the wreaths and the toys and the this and the big creches and trees and the Santa Clauses, and for about 3 weeks, from middle of December through early January, and by early January it was gone anyway, it would be Christmas in America. And as a Jew, you kind of, like Kyle, I think it is on South Park, you just wander around, you realize for a couple of weeks that, this ain't my country. It is a free country. You can believe what you want to believe. You can practice freely. That's the point. But for 3 weeks, we become a pretty goyish nation, visually at the very least. So it was kind of rough growing up at times. Just spiritually, just kind of seeing Christmas, all the commercials. If you were a kid and you're trying to watch cartoons, and so everything was Christmas, and you enjoyed them. You would watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You would watch Santa Claus is coming to town, and Burl Ives as, he was the old snowman and Rudolph and all of that stuff. The Rankin and Bass things. I'm sure Rankin and Bass were Jewish. So, as they tried to level and give Jews a bit more, plus realizing that Jews wanted to take part and would spend money to do so, to decorate their homes with dreidels, and menorahs and kitschy cultural things of our faith and of our cultural upbringing. Suddenly it was kind of like, hey, let's not forget about us. And it didn't hurt, of course, when Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song came out about, 30 years ago on Saturday Night Live, and suddenly we had a song that wasn't dreidel, dreidel, dreidel. And we had a song that Goyim would recognize and laugh along with, and not laugh at us. But it was a watershed moment. Culturally, the ovation that Sandler received the first time, and then the many times that he did that song in various guises and places, was this explosion of Jews going, yeah! Right? It's like, this guy, he's Jewish just like us. He's making fun of it in a great way, and he's singing about it, and we matter in this strange, odd way. So now, honest to God, there are shelves in Target and Walmart and Dwayne Reed and Ryan, so that will have Jewish appropriated stuff, little gold coins or fake gold coins that you can put up on the wall, just to tell America, yeah, they're a very small minority, but they spend money and they vote and they have importance and they want to be counted into the spirit of the holiday season. And so I'm trying to get into that more. I'm trying to appreciate that. I'm realizing now, I've realized this for a very long time, that here we are, middle of December, through the middle of January is kind of the worst of it because it's the darkest, shortest days. It's been cold out. We've been lucky so far here in northern Maryland in terms of snow. We can get hit like Chicago or some of the rest of the East Coast. We might be in a few days, but still, it's all around that solstice thing, the equinox, whatever. I used to think, and when you're growing up, you think, oh God, fall is going on, and then we first hit winter, right? You get through fall, it gets colder and darker, and then by December 20th or 21st, you're already tired of it. And then you realize, oh crap, winter is just starting. But then I've tried to shift my focus a bit to the whole solstice thing of, the really worst time of it, technically, is the middle to late December, when the days are absolutely at their shortest or furthest away from the sun, which really means that the 3 or 4 weeks before and the 3 or 4 weeks after that day are the darkest, the coldest, right? The days when 4 o'clock in the afternoon is like, holy shit, it's night already, right? Which also means that by the time you get to March, even though it's still winter, you're feeling spring. You might have a bad March snowstorm and you're like, it'll go away. It's almost spring, right? And that helps get me through. And it's also the reason, I'm sure, that in all these northern climes, we have holidays like Christmas and New Year's Eve just around the coldest, grimmest, rainiest, snaniest days of the year. You ever notice that weather, at least on the East Coast and where we were living, is always pretty nice until Thanksgiving. And then everything falls to crap on Thanksgiving, right? You're at the family, it's nice and warm, you're having turkey, you're having meals, you're having fun, it's nice. But outside, and you're watching football, well, the sleety rain is falling. It's gone to like 36 degrees, so it's like, and that's the moment that you realize fall is technically over. We're now forget December 21st, winter's starting now, right? So that's also another reason why it's kind of fun to partake in this. In saying, hey, don't believe in Christmas, not a Jesus guy. If that's your thing, go ahead. But I'm a culturally Jewish guy. So it's nice to be part of that, even if I haven't been any kind of religious in years, except for Yom Kippur, right? So yeah, kind of proud to be able to partake in the season. Whereas, like when growing up, going to Hebrew school, going as a kid to yeshiva and stuff like that, I was sort of against it. I was like, wait a minute, Christmas is a whole other thing. It's not our holiday. Really, much closer to Christmas for us is Passover, not Hanukkah. They bumped up and beefed up Hanukkah from a pretty minor, insular Jewish. It's a good. We won the thing. We beat the Greeks, the Romans, whatever the hell. It's fine. It's a good holiday. It's not Yom Kippur, right? It's not Passover. It's not one of the high holy days, right? It's not even Rosh Hashanah. It's Hanukkah. It's fine. It's nice. Give the kid a gift. But now, of course, we've raised it to reach the Christmas thing to a level of like, aha. When I do like this when cabaret people do a Christmas concert. They most often call it like a winter concert. So they make sure to include a little Hanukkah medley in there. So Christmas songs by Jewish songwriters, which is most of them, right? And as I get older into my dotage, I appreciate it, and I'm kind of happy to see it and hear it, and on some level partake in it. So we do have our Dreidel, we have our menorah, and we will be referencing other Hanukkah things during this 1011th episode of The Dave's Gone By, Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the Stream. Let me take a look at, this is what my wife would normally be telling me to do right now. She's having a grading / sleep-in moment today, because grades have to be in a day or two. Let's see, hold on. My phone is so slow. All right, let me get to my photos. Let's see if there's anything to share with you. And that will spark any memories of anything important. It was a quiet week, basically. I graded papers for the weekend and did some other work stuff, but there's no, come on, hello. Oh, this is, there's nothing remotely interesting about this, but we're still getting bunnies in the backyard, even in this weather. We see deer traipsing across in the neighborhood, and a fox has been fairly present, and then there's a stray cat who keeps running back and forth across our yard. But we still get also the occasional bunny rabbit. You ever see a bunny sit like this? It's a little hard to see, but he's not hunched, he's not resting, or he's literally straight up, almost perpendicular, like sitting on his cute little white-tailed bunny haunch. He doesn't seem to be like on this heavy alert for a fox, right? He just seems, like, hey, I'm a rabbit, I'm here, almost behaving more like a squirrel. So I found that rather interesting. That was in our yard over by the bird feeders. Let's see if there's another interesting, anything good? Oh, there was one. Is it on this one? Oh, just give me a mo. Isn't this the most interesting thing a person can do? Scroll through their phone on the interwebs. Here's our fox. Here's our fox. Look at the tail on this thing. Don't look at the tail on this thing. And, if you know me, I do like a nice piece of tail. Stop it. Just here it is. So, yeah. Just, when I saw him, I was like, this is why women back in the day would wear foxtail or fox fur coats. It's that thing that they would drape around their necks, and I get it. That looks so warm. If we go down below like 12 degrees here during the winter in northern Baltimore, I'm trapping him, I'm cutting him up, and I'm taking the tail. No question about that. So there's him. What else? Let's see what else. My wife probably has some other pictures on her phone. Oh, and here, this is going back about 3 weeks, but I talk about the deer in our backyard. So this is when they favor us with their presence. This is when, and I'm sorry, it's from far away. It's literally from behind a window, looking out into the yard. But these are deer, 3 of them, poking around about 3 weeks ago in our yard. And I know the deer have been back in our yard, not across the street, only because, not because I see them anymore, not because they're like poking around like, hey, how are you? Look at us, we're so beautiful. It's like you're in rural suburbia. No, when we go to fill our bird feeder, you can almost not walk to the bird feeder because of all the deer poop. It's like piles and piles, because there's a family of 5 or 6 deer living just around this neighborhood. And when they're nice, they let us watch them and enjoy their beauty. But most of the time they come, I'm sure, at night. They trudge through, they eat our shrubbery, and then they go right by our shrubbery and take these nuggety, pellety dumps and leave them for us to go. And they're not like cats, where they'll just go and bury this. No, they're like, hey, thank you, we're leaving, enjoy. And of course, our gardeners have come for the last time of the season. So it's not that they're going to come by and plow it over or mulch it with whatever they do. It's going to be there all winter. It'll dry out and it'll hopefully fertilize stuff under it. Always wondered about that. I thought, hey, poop is going to fertilize this. No, it doesn't. It'll make the lawn brown and die. You have to turn it into something else, not just actual poop, in order for it to work as fertilizer. So it goes. But anyway, thank you, dear. Thank you for making it almost impossible to step around part of our backyard, for your presence there. Isn't that just lovely? But when we see them, of course, they're pretty amazingly wonderful and gorgeous. I also had photos on my phone, and this was awful. I was seeing these 2, they weren't hawks, they were these beautiful brown-winged, there were some kinds of birds of prey, that were doing their thing. I think I have one of them here. It's really hard to, can't really see it too well, unfortunately. I tried to get it on the phone so I could share with all of you. Yeah, I mean, It's so far away. It's so small that you literally can't even. I had it. There he is. Oh, the coloring and the markations of an owl. And it's funny, it's a beautiful wingspan, gorgeous bird. I'm like, ooh, I gotta show. And then what I'm realizing is another bird is coming down and he's got this red strand in his mouth. And then they start flying and fighting each other over the strand. And I realize that they've got some kind of mouse or cat or something that they tore to pieces. Or let's hope found in the road. Maybe they found a dead deer in the road. And when people cut off the head of the dead deer and leave the rest of the body, the carcass, for animal control to pick up. So there's just this deer in the road, and maybe the hawk finds it, not hawk, whatever the hell that is, and grabs the, if not intestines, anything out of the open head, and yanks out just organ meat. And if there's a deer, by the way, there's enough for everyone to go around. I don't know why they have to fight. No idea why two birds have to get into a tussle over strands of something out of a deer when one deer can probably feed 26 ravens, crows, owls, and hawks, and so forth. But anyway, it was both beautiful and fascinating watching nature, and also like sad because I didn't want these two birds hurting each other, and obviously something else died in their, in their tete-a-tete for that to be happening. But anyway, that's what's happening here in Northern Maryland. Birds fighting, holiday decorations everywhere. Me on camera doing Dave's Gone By on this Saturday, December 13th, 2025. If you want to know more about this program, davesgoneby.com is the place to go. DAVESGONEBY. Davesgoneby.com is the place to see photos of the show, the history of the show, and more importantly, the entire audio and video archives of our program. From our very first episode back in 2002, 2002, all the way to last week's show, we've been able to save pretty much every one. And they're all free. Sometimes they're just MP3s or streams that you can listen to because they were just radio shows for all those years. Then we started going on camera about seven something years ago, maybe 8. And then those are all here at davesgoneby.com as well. Go to davesgoneby.com, watch as much as you want, as often as you want, thousands of hours of Davertainment to make your holiday the best it can possibly be. And if for some reason you find our site maybe slow one day or we're down, we also have all our archives at archive.org, archive.org. And it's the same step. It's all the interviews and all the complete episodes on our channel. Just go to archive.org and look up Dave's Gone By and, have yourself a blast with thousands of hours of Davertainment. Plus, you'll find the audio only of our shows at castbox.fm, castbox.fm. This is specifically just for podcasting, so if you don't need to watch the show, if you just want to hear our program from last week or last year, 5 years ago, the audio is at our channel at castbox.fm. We've also got a YouTube channel, Dave's Gone By. We keep losing our programs there, which are being either muted or blocked because of copyright issues from back when we played music. Thank you very much. And our Facebook page will archive the most recent shows, although it might be hard to find anything older than a month or two because Facebook has stopped keeping the archives of things after a certain point, or so they say. Anywho, thanks for joining us on this pre-Hanukkah Saturday morning. I'm Dave Lefkowitz, by the way. We're not going to do, I don't think we're going to do My Old Phlegm today because I'm a little raspy, a little coughing, but I'm not bringing up, I'm not productive in a physical sense. Hopefully I'll be productive for the next 2.5 hours, but I'm not bringing up any green or yellow or clear phlegm to share with you and show you the condition of my lungs, I might do bunion watch. Because last week I showed you my foot and my bunion because my foot was hurting where the bunion is, which is rare. But we looked at the bunion on camera and it looked perfectly fine and round and beautiful. What I can show you, apropos of Hanukkah, apropos of the holiday, is that after I took a shower the other day, and that happens a couple of times a year, I tried cleaning my ears and getting a little in the old wax. I don't have the wax back. I use an old-fashioned Q-tip. I'm deaf in this ear pretty much anyway, so if I bash out this eardrum, who cares? So I go in there with a Q-tip, and oh boy, check this out. This is from my good ear. This was in there. I don't know if it's the weather or if I was fighting something, but check out this earwax that came out of my left ear. Dig it. Is that something? Kind of looks like a number 3. Wait, see if I can do that right. It may be backwards. I'm seeing it backwards. I'm showing it to you forwards. So otherwise I can kind of go like that. Not sure what else. What else does it look like? A croissant? Yeah, pretty much, or a little bit of orange peel. That is actual human earwax. So I'm thinking, instead of, if we light that first candle today, instead of the shamash, what is wrong with me? If I can use this as the special wax. Maybe it will burn for 8 days and 8 nights because my head wax is so compacted and so profoundly spiritual. It would be a miracle. It would be if if this little bit of earwax lasts 8 days and 8 nights without burning. Let's see if it's like a scented candle. Well, apparently the inside of my head doesn't smell. So I don't know what to call this segment if this ever happens again. So I'm sharing my bunions. I'm sharing my phlegm. What? Maybe I already wax poetic for our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. I gotta think about that. Maybe wax and waves. Instead of wacky Dave, waxy Daves. Gotta think about that. Maybe I'll come up with it while we have the pleasure of listening to and watching Rabbi Sol Solomon, who is the spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. Rabbi Sol does a lot of stuff for us on the show. He does most of our interviews now. He'll conduct some of the story times. He favors us, as he will later, with a rabbinical reflection all about Eurovision. But first and foremost, we have a guest in the Daverhood. He is a playwright. He's also done lots of writing for television and film, as well as, most recently, some light comic verse. He has a book out, or it's actually a second printing of a book of poetry for playwrights, for people who work and struggle in the sort of off-Broadway theater industry, and really theater anywhere, called Dramaturgatory. They're cute little poems about what it means to try and just get your plays done in this fishbowl of American theater and New York theater. He has another poetry book out too, and he's got a play that he's been working on that's getting a reading at Palm Beach Drama Works in early January. He's going to tell us and Rabbi Sol Solomon all about it. So let me share Mr. Screen so I can go get away from my Zoom workplace. Open this up. Where is he, Matt? His name is Matt Schatz, by the way. I probably should have said that more than once. Matt Schatz and Rabbi Sol Solomon on this 1011th edition of Dave's Gone By. Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is our old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck. New York. And we're going all the way over to the other coast for someone who should be on this coast because he's a playwright most of the time. He's also a writer for TV and movies, but he's an award winner playwright and composer. He's had his shows done at Ensemble Studio Theater, the Geffen Theater in LA, Pittsburgh City Theater, Seattle Rep, Actors Theater of Louisville, and he's had projects in development in terms of media at every place from CBS to TBS. He has taught playwriting also at Carnegie Mellon. I haven't even taught at Muskmelon. And he is the winner, this is big actually, of the Clayban Prize in terms of musical theater. And he's a finalist for a bunch of others, including like a Fred Ebb Award. So, most importantly, this man in front of us, his name is Matt Schatz. No jokes, please. Matt Schatz. He is the author of the Prostate Song. We're going to talk all about this with Matt Schatz. Shalom, Matt.
Hello. Hello, Rabbi. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too. Why did you write the Prostate Song?
Why? Because when I was at Youngblood at the Ensemble Studio Theater many years ago, and one of the board members named Ken Mendel was suffering from this affliction of prostate cancer, and he wanted to sing about it. I would do, when I was in this Youngblood Playwrights Collective in New York, I would, they had a thing called, they still do have the Youngblood Sunday Brunch, and I would, every week I'd come up, based, and do a song based on a theme. They'd have a theme about mothers or about whatever, and I forget what the prostate song, I forget what the theme was that time, but yeah, it was, that was good fun.
Actually, fair
I rhymed the words better ring and Sloan Kettering. So I said phone, better ring, and Sloan Kettering, which is still one of my proudest moments. Yeah.
If Sloan Kettering calls when you have cancer, don't answer. But there's a little rhyme there too. Actually, the real question: how did you, for the guy who sang with you?
He's alive and well. He's thriving.
Awesome.
Commenting on Facebook, still posting the Ken Mendel, still posting the prostate song every now and again, and yeah, it's he likes to pretend he wrote it, but he didn't write it. I wrote it.
You wrote it. You gotta take credit. You gotta take pride.
But he's a wonderful. He's a mensch. He's a wonderful guy. Yeah.
Speaking of writing little things and little ditties, the one thing I didn't mention is that Matt Schatz has a couple of books out, including this new one of short poems, all about what it means to be a playwright in this crazy world that we're in. The book is called Dramaturgatory, Poems for Theater People. So, there's social, could you share, there's one I particularly want you to share, but can you choose one and just give us a poem?
Oh boy, okay, yeah, this one, I don't know, this might have been the one you wanted, but since you're a rabbi, I'm gonna read, I just opened up to this randomly. I think this is the first one in Act 2 of the book, because they're separated into acts. This one is called Denomination. The theater is your temple, but temple is a theater too. You're an observant playwright and a less than fervent Jew. You never want to go to either. You're mostly happy when you do. That's that one.
It's beautiful. He's written if you are in the show business game, or a playwright, or even just love going to the theater, these are sweet, they're cute, they're funny, they're whimsical, they're a little rueful and dark, as I'm getting the sense, even from the black shirt, that you might be. Do you have, do you go for dark humor and sick and tasteless kind of things?
I'm not sick and tasteless, but maybe dark humor, and black shirts are also slimming, which is this is why I do that. But yeah, I like to think that the stuff has heart. I don't like sort of mean-spirited dark humor, but I have a sort of a little bit of a cynical, dark view on the world sometimes, but also I'm an optimistic, sort of hopeful person. So my darkness comes through a light lens, which is why I think I write these poems, and they're essentially light verse. Though I think sometimes they're not light, but they're in that sort of form of light verse, and I sometimes take issue with the idea that they're all light verse. But yeah, so it's all I'm a complicated person, as we all are.
Aren't we all? Aren't we? By the way, also one thing I didn't even get to mention is that you're an alumnus, and I don't know if you're also faculty there, but you've been to the BMI Lehman Engel thing. That if you know the Broadway musical A Class Act, or if you saw a chorus line, you know that it came out of the whole Lehman Engel. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, tell us about that
Yes, I did it. I'm an alum. I live in Los Angeles, so I can't be part of it anymore. But I moved to Los Angeles in 2013. Though I did the Lehman Ingle BMI musical theater workshop from I think I started in 2007 and went through into the advanced workshop. I learned a lot there, and I learned things that I still use every day in my musical theater writing. I teach my own course in Los Angeles called the TMI Musical Theater, the Matt Schatz TMI Musical Theater Workshop. They've yet to sue me. They can if they want to. I don't care. But which is things I've sort of stolen from there, but also things that I've learned in my 20 years of writing musicals.
So give me an example of something that you learned from BMI, and then something that you've come up with on your own that you teach in TMI.
Well, I've learned so much, and I do go through. There's this sort of. And my class is just lyrics, so even though people sometimes do music, but we do it in person and on Zoom, so people just do lyrics and read the lyrics, or we read them out loud. But one thing that I learned, there's sort of Pat Cook is one of the moderators of the BMI Musical Theater Workshop, and he has this sort of 10 commandments of theater lyrics, and I agree with most of them. There's one though, that says sort of and they're all sort of in thou shalt not, which is good for you, Rabbi. One is like thou shalt not use cliches, which is true in all writing. However, one time I sort of take issue with it because so much about musical theater writing, so many titles of musical theater songs are cliches. Often, you're subverting the cliche. But if you look at the greatest musical theater songs from Sondheim and everything, often it's like, it's taking, sort of the ends justify the means, or they're taking cliches, and cliches are often a really good hook and a really good shorthand. So there's things like that where I sort of, in my experience, and also, because musical theater lyric you hear once and in real time, and clarity, all the rules are in service of clarity. True rhymes and the proper accent and scansion on words, these are all, they're not just, for fun and for craft, but they're all in service of clarity. So sometimes a cliche can help make a song clear. So that's one thing that I sort of sort of have a slightly different idea about. Also, I just I in my career have sort of found things, whether it be sort of the purpose of rhymes or the purpose of sort of proper accented words, and in my experience, so I've just I give my vast experience of writing these shows, and sort of the thing about the BMI workshop is a lot of those people have never had shows produced. So it's like once you get, there's some things a lot of these things, these craft rules, no one gives a shit about. Even critics don't even know what these. A critic will say, "Oh, there's great rhymes," but then they'll list something that's not a rime. So it's sort of, I think there's sort of take everything with a grain of salt, and everything is sort of I don't believe really in craft for craft's sake, which I think.
Actually, this brings up something because I was looking at a video of someone who was saying about a song in 1970 that they were surprised, not a theater song, a rock song, that the rhymes weren't exact, but that was intentional and it was okay, and they called them slant rhymes.
Yeah.
The name of,
yeah.
But if you're a Sondheim, if you're an Oscar Hammerstein, and you are a lyricist, what is your thought about slant rhymes? Are they okay in the moment?
No.
Well,
they're okay in pop songs. Pop songs are a whole different thing. But in theater, I strongly advise against them in a theater lyric. I really am a true believer. There's so much pleasure to be gotten from both hearing and coming up with true rhymes. Obviously, and I was a songwriter before I did the BMI Musical Theater Workshop. Before I really even was a theater songwriter, I wrote I have a guitar, I wrote my own songs. The Prostate song is an example of that, of the kind of songs I would write. That was probably right when I joined the BMI workshop, but that's an example of a comedy song that's just me with my guitar, and for those, I didn't think so much about that, but once you start really studying musical theater and the greats like Sondheim or Sheldon Harnick, Yip Harburg, those, the Cole Porter, the really good, lyricists, you'll see, the importance of sort of not just true rhymes, but also, the proper scansion. I talk in my class about anytime there's a misheard lyric, like in a pop song, there's like that Taylor Swift song "Blank Space," and she's got this lyric. Got a long list of ex-lovers, and the way she accents, got a long list of ex-lovers. People heard it as Starbucks lovers,
yes.
which is fine in a pop song because you just what does that mean? But if you're in a musical and you think someone says Starbucks lovers and the show is set in the 1840s, it's confusing. So
my hearing is so bad. I hear the song, I hear Pete's Coffee. So see, that's how bad my hearing and my stanchion is.
Oh, Rabbi, yes, that's it's exactly. So that's that kind of thing. Anytime you hear, almost anytime you hear, you mishear a lyric in all those famous ones. There's a whole book of those sort of misheard lyrics. It's often sort of a misaccented word, and sometimes it's a false rhyme. But to me, there's just so much pleasure to be gotten from finding, I did a thing at the ASCAP workshop a couple of years ago. I have a musical called An Untitled New Play by Justin Timberlake, which is a musical theater satire. And I have a rhyme, and Stephen Schwartz moderates that workshop, the great Stephen Schwartz. And I have a rhyme in it that rhymes hyphenate with life in it. And I'm very proud of that. And Stephen Schwartz really loved that rhyme. And that's the kind of thing where when you stumble upon those rhymes, you just feel like you feel like someone's God, Hashem, rabbis smiling down on you.
Yes. Or as I like to call him, Adoshem. If I'm going to get perky.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, so that's I care way too. I mean, it's like me and a very small percentage of lyric writers and musical theater writers who, and I know a lot of them, we are the ones who care about this. The vast majority of people don't give a shit. And even if you hear, there was a time when, Disney would, the craft would be really high on those musical movies, like, the Ashman and Menken songs. But now, obviously Lin-Manuel Miranda is a genius. But because he comes from, he has sort of a hip hop vibe. Sometimes he does use trick rhymes or slant rhymes. But then it's like, but his songs are very good still. But then, and the songs for Frozen are really great. Bobby Lopez, Kristen Anderson Lopez, they're excellent. But then, there's a newer generation of writers who don't really care about this stuff as much.
If you hear a slant rhyme in Frozen, you know what you do?
What do you do?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
But yeah. So exactly. That's good.
You jumped on my joke, you bastard. All right.
I'm sorry.
Let me ask you this now. So you come from sort of learning playwriting at Carnegie Mellon and then studying at places like the Eugene O'Neill Center and also doing musical theater composing writing at BMI. That's sort of old school. And yet now we're seeing all these different hybrid, I guess especially post-COVID, ideas of what theater can be. And it intrigues me that you wrote a musical for children called Chooseable that seems different from, hey kids, come into a theater, watch a show, laugh when you laugh, clap when you clap, sleep if you, because you're a child, whatever.
Right.
But was there more to it?
That was called The Door You Never Saw Before, and it was I had a musical that was scheduled to be produced at the Geffen and was produced later called A Wicked Soul in Cherry Hill, which is about a rabbi, but a rabbi who killed his wife.
We talk about that one.
Talk about that too, and you'll get your first death threats, Rabbi Sol Solomon.
That'll be my first.
Or maybe your sixth. But so in the time after the show was canceled or postponed rather, they were doing, the Geffen was doing this thing called the Geffen Playhouse was doing a thing called Geffen Stay House, which is basically Zoom plays. Where often there'd be like an element, like they had a couple ones that I saw that were magic, like magic shows, they would mail something to your house that was part of the show. So there was that element. So they asked any of us if we had ideas for a children's show, and I wanted to write a show about what kids were going through during the pandemic. It's about a girl who's stuck inside her house, and she goes into a room in her house and she sees a door she never saw before, and she goes and goes into this magical journey. And then it's this whole thing about this world that's sort of a pandemic parable, where she's trying to defeat this thing called the stench, and it's about that she has to have
I am
strength.
trying to defeat my stench all the time.
Yes, exactly. No, it's so that was that, and then we sent a box of I think I have it. I have like 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Emily,
We're here with Matt Schatz, by the way, who's grabbing a box.
Yes. We sent this box. It's a suitcase. It was a suitcase full of like things that you use in the show, and it was all things that whatever. It was a medal. This is medal. Both
Will every
Emmy.
kid in the audience have one? I don't care.
Yes, yes. They mailed it to their homes. It was all part of the show, and then they would, but also. It was a choosicle, which is a word that I coined, the wordsmith I am.
Trademark, Matt Schatz. Yeah.
Well, we tried. So the idea was, that you go into these Zoom breakout rooms. So if somebody would say, you could either go, to this room, or to this land, or to this land, and if you chose that land, you would have one scene. If you chose another land, you would have another scene. So it was very, very complicated. We had to sort of, I think one of the writers who on another show said sort of like, you were building the car as you were driving it with this sort of thing.
It wasn't an improv. The scenes were worked out.
No, it's all scripted.
Improv.
Everything had to be scripted. All those. It's almost like quantum physics. All those outcomes had to be planned for, and then sort of like things would diverge and converge. But yeah, it was great, and the kids loved it. Later, it was used, I think, at one of the children's hospitals out here for kids. We had a tape version that they used, and it was a really wonderful experience.
So I'm still trying to get the thing. All of this was on Zoom. Or
yes, it was all. It was almost like as what we're doing now. I'm a kid, and I might, I'm at like it's like we had questions. There was quizzes. There was puzzles. There was a puzzle maker involved with the show, and we made puzzles. So then the kids would raise their hand, and so it was extremely complicated, and also just needed needed really good Wi-Fi, and we had to film these things and make them look really good, and it was also really hard to do. It's also really hard to do music on Zoom.
Yes.
So yeah, it was like. It was really cool. I think
more traditionally, you were talking about and go figure. You write a Jewish play. You write a play about a rabbi, and he turns out to be awful. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for writing a musical that makes us look bad.
Listen, it wasn't my fault. I didn't tell the guy to kill his wife. All I did was
if he's
retell
married,
the story.
he probably wanted to.
He did well. I don't want to. But yeah, no. All I did was to no. So that was. You want to talk about that?
Let's talk about that. Well, tell quickly the story. It's a true story.
Sure.
That's based of all things a musical upon.
Yes, it's like a song cycle, like a sung through musical. So in 1994, in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Rabbi Fred Newlander, probably some dispute, but probably hired two hitmen to kill his wife. I'm from the area. My family was, longstanding members of the South Jersey Jewish community, probably since the mid 1800s or something. So I'm not part of the rabbi's temple. But my parents had met the rabbi. They had good friends who were part of the congregation. So I thought a connection to the story. Not only that, in 1997, when my family moved from Blackwood, New Jersey, to Cherry Hill, to the apartment building, we just coincidentally moved into the very unit that the hitman had lived in, that features into the story. So I felt this really weird connection to the story, and always sort of felt a little haunted by it. And I really thought the questions that it raised were interesting about sort of what we do when people that we trust, turn out to be not so great. Which even in the sort of Me Too movement and all these things, a lot of our heroes, I don't know if you've ever seen the films of Woody Allen, but I like those films.
Of course.
We had to reckon with.
You and I would not exist in the way that we do without Woody Allen.
Exactly. So, but then if you had ideas about, the accusations about him, you sort of had to reckon with what it means to separate the art from the artist, or what it means when someone we admire turns out to be not so great. And in this case,
what it means to separate his penis from a child. It's that kind of thing.
Exactly. Rabbi, exactly. Exactly. Well, we could talk about that's maybe offline. But yeah. So anyway, so that really, so the play. I was very proud of it. Probably I think in some ways the thing that I was meant to write, the best thing I've ever done. Though there was issues with it was a new musical, which is hard. It was totally sung through. And then when the Geffen announced, I mean, there's humor in the show because I'm a funny writer, but the show is not a comedy, and the show does take the situation very seriously. But when the show was announced, the Geffen announced it sort of as the tagline, is sort of with humor and chutzpah, and people took offense at that. And I don't know if you know that the Jewish community can be very they don't like when somebody, especially the Jewish community in South Jersey, were sort of angered by it. They didn't see the show. But didn't stop them from review bombing it and sending me threatening and the cast threatening messages and like fascist style things. But yeah, so that was interesting. But I'm still very proud of the show. Because of the. Also we opened and then we shut down a week because of COVID. It was
But I don't know. I don't know if that's
show.
a show I would want to see right now, only because we're taking it on the chin so much as Jews and Jewish Americans, and at least in my case,
that's the stupidest fucking thing I ever heard, Rabbi Sol Solomon. You have to. I understand. I totally understand. But the show is not a. Jews can be good people and bad people. That's important to understand. Also, I think you more than anyone else as a rabbi would know that the questions are more important than the answers. So the show is asking big questions. I think in a lot of ways. The people who were against the show, strangely, I think if the show was sort of, about, the evil right wing or whatever, I think people would have been sort of more on board with it. But I think a lot of the people were sort of probably aligned with, probably liberal, probably aligned with me, or I don't know, maybe you politically, but they were offended that the show that I was even bringing this thing up again, which is what what you're suggesting. And I understand. I totally understand. But I, as an artist, my job is to try to tell the truth. I don't, and the show is sort of framed as if. Every year, people get together and we tell the story. Exactly, and that's what we do. We sort of and my idea. I didn't change any of the story or what happened. It's all from sort of accounts. And there's been also countless books and documentaries about this. I wasn't the first person to dig this up. There's podcasts, true crime podcasts that treat it much. With much more light and sensationalism than I did.
That got me thinking, wouldn't that be an amazing Seder? It's like they all sit around the table, and the children have to hire a couple of uncles to kill grandma. But they fake stab her and everything, and then I don't know what the Afikoman would be. It would have to be some sort of.
Well, this is the people. I mean, the people reacting sort of to this sort of idea, to this sort of framing of it, rather than the framing what I was just trying to. I mean, there's humor in the show, but also the show is.
They assumed you were being deliberately anti-Israel or anti-Jewish and offensive.
Well, it's nothing to do with Israel, but there's Israel, but sort of anti. Yes, no, I think they just thought they didn't want this story to be told. They thought a personal connection to it. I totally understand. The kids are still alive, and the son was very active on social media, saying mean things to the actors, and they couldn't market this. They couldn't market the show because anytime they put a video of the show,
it's like, I wish her dad had killed you. I mean, well, maybe not.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I would never say that, but no, I no, of course. Anyway.
Anywho,
I have a poetry book about
let's.
I'll read one that's Germaine. This one is Germaine. You want to hear it? Okay.
Yes, or Michael or Tito.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. I could have. Let me find this one. I think it's toward the end. Let's see. It's only 40 pages. Okay, here it is. This one is called True Crime. Sweet Jesus and holy hell. Oedipus was not Sophocles' story to tell. Which comes from this idea that a lot of people are saying that the Wicked Soul on Cherry Hill was not my story to tell. Even though I'm from the community and I'm also I wouldn't even have to be from the community to tell the story. Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't even. It always bothered me that. Well, I mean, I understand. It's like when Spike Lee wanted to make the movie about Malcolm X, and there was a white director who was slated to do it first, and Spike Lee said, "No, you don't get this white guy to tell this story."
Right.
I'm like, Spike Lee can tell his version, like I can tell his version. You can't take a story away from someone. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's and also we're very sort of the current culture is very sort of identitarian, which but I do think there's something to be said for having someone I felt like I could tell because I'm a South Jersey
you were in the apartment. You were where the hitman were. Did you find any bullets?
Found no bullets. Only found nothing. Only their name on the. My dad took their name off the mailbox. Yeah.
Now, speaking of having your names on things, a lot of what you've written, tons and tons of scripts and screenplays and plays and teleplays and things.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that like a certain high percentage of them, you're paid for them, you do them, you're like, oh, this will get made, this will be a thing, and then you write it, and it just goes, it's turnaround hell, or it's just not even, or it's got pie. How do you get through that as a creative person where you're putting all this energy into something that you almost know has a nominal chance of actually being made?
How do you get through that, you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, you get paid. So that's all you care about. I mean, I've done so much TV development. I don't think anything. I mean, I've had a few little things made, but really the vast majority of the things that I've sold or I've worked on, I've even been in writers' rooms for shows that that never got done. I was in a writer's room and I co-wrote this sort of Netflix adaptation of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with the writer and director Taika Waititi. We co-wrote the pilot, and that never. I mean, we were in a writer's room for it. I wrote 2 scripts. It was for Netflix. Never got done. I'm cool with it as long as if I can make a living. It'd be nice for things to get made. But right now they're not making anything, and there are no TV writers or TV shows, or televisions, or movies, or writers, or
Netflix
screenplays.
just bought Warner Brothers, so
I don't know if it's going to really happen, but yeah, someone's trying. They could have just, I don't know, they could have just subscribed to Netflix, if you ask me, if they really wanted to see the shows on there. They'd have to buy it. But yeah, it's an interesting time to be a writer. I think that. Part of the reason, that I wrote, that I've been writing this poetry, especially dramaturgatory, which is put out by a publisher called Ballacourt Press, which coincidentally is the name of the street that I grew up on. Just a coincidence. I didn't start the company. I have an audience, and people bought the book, and you can use the proceeds. All the proceeds of the book go to a charity called Matt Feeds His Children and helps his working wife pay their rent. So that was really one of the impulses.
But you said this is a second printing, so you already did one printing of this. And
we sold out 100 copies like this. It's like a lot of poetry books don't sell 100 copies in their life. So I mean, Shoes Last Longer to Lay, my first book, which was put out not by me, but by Kung Fu Treachery Press, which is a publisher, I believe it's in Missouri or something, but a great group of people and puts out great books. Sold very well, was like the number 5th best-selling poetry book on Amazon months after it came out. Best-selling poetry book, is in the hundreds, not in the millions or thousands, but even so, I've had an interesting sort of. I do have like a following, and I post a lot of these poems on Instagram. I do get published occasionally, like in this magazine, pretty frequently. This magazine called Light Poetry Magazine, which is a journal of light verse. But I'm not someone who just like a lot of these people just publish all these literary magazines. It really makes more sense to me to put these poems on Instagram directly. People, I get fans, I get followers, people, and then buy these things. I mean, and one of the reasons I put out Dramaturgatory was because a lot of my people that I know are theater people. All my best friends are playwrights and and directors and actors. So it seemed like a cool thing for people to get for presents for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever.
Actually, tell us, how can we buy those? But you have a website.
Yeah. You can go to if you go to my website, mattschatz.com. There's a link there. I think if you probably Google it, Dramaturgatory, I made up the word, so you might find it. But yeah, you go to my website. It's a Shopify page and there's also we sell Dramaturgatory hats and shirts. If you're interested in such things.
Oh my!
We got merch.
Jewish. You've got merch.
Yes, we got merch.
Friend.
Yes. Yes, we got merch. The merch rhymes with church, so not. So.
I want to get back to the Jew shit. I want to get back to some Jew stuff right here. So,
yes.
Growing up, were you conservative, liberal, moderate? I don't get it.
I was in a No, I was in a. So I'm from a place called Turnersville, New Jersey, which is a small little suburb of Philadelphia. It's like a lot of South Philadelphians live in, a lot of Italians live in this Washington Township. And I went to a temple called B'nai Tikva, which is a conservative temple. But then I believe with an Orthodox rabbi, but a conservative temple. But also my family, I'm an atheist and everything, but I'm still very Jewish. But I'm bar mitzvahed. My wife's Jewish, my children are Jewish, my family's Jewish. We're Jewish. Yes, exactly. So and I write. I play The Burdens, which is my most produced play, is about Jewish siblings, and I read a lot of Jewish. I'm a Jewish American writer. Philip Roth would often say, "Oh, I'm not a Jewish American writer. I'm an American writer." I think he's a Jewish American writer. I think I'm also a Jewish American writer. And I think there's nothing. I think that's my point of view. That's my perspective. I think sometimes people say that my plays are sort of, even though I think they're very Jewish, for certain things like Jewish awards and things like that, the Jewish Playwrights Project, which is a cool thing, and my plays are never quite Jewish enough in that way, I think, for them. But I do my best. All I can do is do what I can, as they say.
Nobody knew Tom Stoppard was Jewish until like 10 years
ago. Yes, exactly.
He is.
I have a poem about Tom Stoppard. I have a poem about that, but I don't even know. I have to. It's not. It's something
but
like.
Can you read? Could you kindly read my favorite poem in the book? It's short.
I cannot. I'm sorry. I apologize, Rabbi. Yes. So go ahead. Please. What is it?
It's two fucking lines. You can read. Okay, it's Giving Tuesday.
Sure.
I think it's brilliant. I love this poem.
Okay. I think I have it memorized, but I'll find it anyway. It's in the first part. Let's see. Yeah. Giving Tuesday. Here's what it looks like. Giving Tuesday. So many theaters wrote me today, but it wasn't to tell me they're doing my play. That's the poem.
That's called terse and says everything.
You have to get everything, and it's it's all a part of the things I do when I write on Instagram. When I write poems, I write them on voice notes on my phone. And if the line's too long, it goes on to the next line, and I don't accept it. So I have to make the line short enough that it fits into the 4x5 Instagram thing, or else I go nuts. So that's part of I think it's my lyric writing background. It's all about really finding as few words as possible to say what you want to say, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah, and it's also just so true for every writer. It's like a company that you're submitting a play to writes to you for money on Thanksgiving, or they announce their season, and you're like, oh, great, you have a season. Good for you. Good.
Exactly. I think also it's for writers who are so poor, most of us are such. The book I've dedicated dramaturgatory to poor dramatists, which I think is most of us. And and so you get, it's like, and obviously there are people that see shows and see plays, and they have regular jobs and they have money, and I really believe in people supporting theater. But as a writer and a theater artist, you sometimes think, oh, come on, I'm just trying to live my life over here, and you can do one of my plays, and I'm happy to see a play if you give me free tickets. But my way of supporting the theater is trying to write for it and trying to push it forward and trying to yeah.
No, I'm going to ask you though. Your wife, as you mentioned, works. So Mazel Tov. How did you meet your missus?
We met on a website in 2005 called MySpace.com in New York City.
So she's a musician then, because MySpace is mostly known for, or was.
No, she wasn't. We had a regular. It was like just a regular. I mean, I had a music page and everything. But she's a writer, but she's also not a musician. It was just a regular social media platform that we, and I think when I moved to New York, I did it's a rabbi like this. You could search sort of for Jewish girls or whatever. I searched, for Jewish girls. I messaged 2 Jewish girls, and she was one of them. And the other one is yet to write back, but she might still. So that was we met very soon after that, and I think I lived in New York for a month, and then I met her and started dating her right away. Her name is Jenna, and then we lived in New York, and where I was a downtown playwright and writer and with day jobs and stuff, and then I won that big theater award, the Cleveland Prize, $100,000. We moved to LA to try to. See
so you're not exactly impoverished. I mean, you're just
Rabbi, that was 2012. But that was over 2 years. I don't know. I 50 grand a year minus. I'm happy to, and I've worked also. I worked. I was a TV writer and stuff before the strike.
Are you still getting because we've talked to a lot of TV people as well as theater people on this show.
Yeah.
And as they as they age, and you're not old yet. But as they age a little past,
I'm not young. And I've been doing this a long time. What's the question? Is it hard to be old?
One of our friends in the Daverhood is playwright and writer John Peelmeyer, who is very lucky to keep getting and writing a lot for TV and series and things like that, as well as theater. But he said there's this level of when you reach a certain age and they're looking for kids out of Harvard who are 21 years old to write everything.
Yeah, there's that. I haven't encountered that so much, but there's also just there was a time, a couple of years ago, like when I came out. I mean, I never was benefited that much from this, but there was a time when it was like the .com boom. Like every playwright, anyone sort of who had any play or even never wrote a play, came out here in New York, got managers and developed TV and got into these rooms, and they jumped from room to room, and there was all these prestige shows, and there was a glut of these things, and the people were just, people thought this was going to go on forever, and then, for various reasons, it didn't and isn't. I had a sort of different career. I would develop a lot, I would sell things, I didn't get in a lot of rooms, but I did sell a lot of things, and I would get, and I did end up working a lot with the writer Taika Waititi on a few different projects, which was good for me for a bit, and gave me my income. But yeah, it's tough, and the industry. I mean, both sort of the pandemic, then the strike. Was really hard for this industry in a lot of ways. I'd sold something right before the strike. And then so I was like, okay, I have this project, and then it was a show for AMC that I wrote with a wonderful another playwright named Lavinia Grays, but they didn't do the show, but we wrote the show and they bought the show, or maybe they're doing it, maybe somebody else is doing it now, I don't know, they fired, whatever, we got whatever.
We were hired to write somebody, it was their idea.
You sold the pilot, I don't know, I got whatever. But yeah, I mean, I was, so it's just, but that, and that was sort of the last, I mean, I've done other things, and I do what I can, and I write musicals, and I have a bunch of musical projects and playwriting projects.
So let me ask you then. I'm personally also hinky about this, but can you talk about what you're working on now, or
Sure.
not until it's finished or a first draft is done?
Oh well, I could talk about whatever I want. No one's going to say anything. No, and I don't know. And maybe I don't even know how many people watch the podcast. Maybe no one would even hear this. But what am I working on? So a couple of things. I have a new play. that's really good. It's called Bobby Rabinowitz and Allison Porchnick. It's about a novelist talking to a chatbot. It's a 2-character play, and it's had a reading out here with a company called In-House Theater, and it went like gangbusters in Los Angeles, and then it's being part of this. I don't know, I forget what the
Palm Beach Drama Works, they're doing it in
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, Perelberg or something. Pellberg. Pellet. What is it? Can you read it? But yeah, so they're doing January. So I'm going to do that, and I'm very excited about that. I'm excited about the play.
So I have to add the name Allison Porchnick. If you know Woody Allen, that's either from Annie Hall or from one of his routines.
It's from Annie Hall. It's from Annie. It's a character played by Carol Kane and Annie Hall, but it's not. It's sort of it's in the play. I mean, I can in the play. The novel, a woman novelist, female novelist, the main character of the play, wrote a novel called Allison Porchnick about that character. So that's where that comes from. It's sort of like trying to write a story, basically retell Annie Hall from the character, from Allison Porchnick's point of view. But that's just, so that's sort of a thematic thing in the play, and there's some Jewish stuff in the play too, which you'll like, yes. Rabbi. And then Bobby Rabinowitz is the chatbot, also Jewish. Is Jewish. Is
a Jewish robot. This is interesting.
Yes. Yes. Well, they could do some.
Maybe Shabbos going to oil them on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I don't know what
some people think we're all robots. But yeah. Anyway, so that's and then there's that. I'm also writing a musical, a magic musical with the magician, a well-known magician named Pith the Magic Dragon, who's a Vegas magician who dresses in a dragon suit. I'm working on that. It's a couple trips to Vegas to develop that. We did it at the South Carolina New Play Festival, did a workshop this summer that went really well, and I'm writing the songs and contributing to the book a little bit too on that one.
How are you getting these? Is it your agent hooking you up with other things? Or
agents don't do anything. I have an agent. They're nice, but they don't do anything. For playwrights, especially, this is my advice to playwrights. Agents. You get an agent if you need an agent, but whatever. But so I don't. All through my, I've been doing this 20 years. People like me. I'm a nice person to work with. I'm a good collaborator. I'm fast. The musical came from. I wrote another musical with a gentleman named Wes Tyler, who is a director and sometimes writes. Years ago, and he runs the South Carolina New Play Festival. Where we started it. So. That's how that happened, and he and this magician wanted a songwriter to work with, and Wes suggested me, and the magician listened to my songs and liked them. I mean, in this business, you just get things from being a nice person and a good collaborator. Sure, agents can help.
I've never gotten shit from anybody.
Yeah, I can see that. I get it.
Why I'm not.
Agents and managers and lawyers and people they can help, but really it's about relationships and being trying to be a nice collaborator and putting yourself out there, writing. I write many plays a year and just that's really how you do it. Yeah.
I always say it's who you're loving with and who you daven with. That's how it is. It's a little cleaner than the other the other thing. By the way, we have been speaking with the delightful Matt Schatz. Remember to get his books. His books include Dramaturgatory and Shoes Last Longer in LA. You can get them at mattschatz.com. Also, Shopify has them as well.
And Amazon for this one, if anywhere books are sold for this one because the publisher put it out. And this one, the money just goes right into
your special GoFund yourself.
Toys for my Gabby's Dollhouse stuff for my kids.
How old are your kids, by the way, if I may ask? And I'm asking.
37 and 30. No, they're 2 and 5.
Oh, Mazel. No wonder
Thank
you have time literally to write only 2-line poems. Now I get it. Yeah.
It's 100% true. Yes. The four lines are about is about my limit, and I do it. I write so many things at play places. I write into my phone at a play place when I'm watching my toddler or kindergartner or whatever. It's a way for me to keep sane, and I'm not a stay-at-home dad. I'm still working, but often I'm watching these children. So I guess the parenting, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I'm parenting these children, and my wife also has a full-time job and works from home, but she's got to bring home the turkey bacon.
She has to
the turkey bacon.
Bring home the fried beef, which was the Jewish equivalent of it.
Yes.
Last question for Matt Schatz. If you were to look back at any of the plays or musicals that you've written or co-written, and if there's any producers watching right now, which is the one that you would say Broadway or maybe major commercial off-Broadway run?
Which, the Burdens, we've been trying, the actor Rachel Bloom is attached to the Burdens. We did a reading, I hear the wonderful director Marlo Hunter is also attached, and we've been trying to get years ago. I mean, that's been when I was at the O'Neill and it came out of the O'Neill and there was a lot of buzz and a lot of Broadway producers were interested, and it was even almost optioned and then not optioned, because who knows, but so that one. It's it's a 2-character play. It's told almost entirely through text messages. It's great. So that one, yes. Also, I think this new one, which is about something we're all going through right now, which is sort of our relationships with artificial intelligence, I think is I think everyone will do it, or everyone should do it. It's 2 characters. I think it's I think with the Burdens was probably one of the first plays that really sort of used text messaging to tell the story. It's really an epistolary play. Bobby Rabinowitz and Alison Porchnik is similar in that way. It's a similar kind of thing. I'm really trying to I like to write things about the way we live now and communicate now, and also be funny and be delightful. And they're also both very short because I have no attention span. My superpower is my short attention span. I just watched this Noah Baumbach Jay Kelly movie yesterday, and it was last night over 2 nights, and it's way too fucking long. So short, sweet, funny.
Like me, basically.
Exactly like me, and like you, and like me, and like any given poem in this little book. They're short, they're delightful. It's the best poetry book in the country. The only other good one is this one. Buy the books.
And humble. Ladies and gentlemen, he's also humble. Matt Schatz, wishing you much, many more words, much more writing, much more productivity.
Thank you, Rabbi.
And thank
you. Yes. Happy Hanukkah.
You too. Shalom.
Shalom.
Rabbi Sol Solomon there, and Matt Schatz. If you think I talk fast, my gosh. But do get his poetry books. Do try and get there if you happen to be in Palm Beach Drama Works on January 11th to see a reading of his play that is coming up too. We thank him so much for being in the Daverhood. I'm Dave Lefkowitz here, bedecked for the Chanukah holiday here. That special bell means 2 things. First of all, it means my darling and adorable and wonderful wife is with us in the room. It also means that it's about... this is sticking in my neck. Somebody... Yes. It also means it's time for our weekly segment called Greeley Times. And this is based... it's hurting me. Here we go. Based on actual phone calls that come into the Greeley and Weld County Police Department. Let me get the music running for Greeley Times.
Greeley, Colorado. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful city. Oh yeah.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, Greeley, Colorado, based on a weekly column in the Greeley Tribune. These are actual calls from people worried about stuff going on in the neighborhood, as opposed to where we are, which is the Daverhood. A caller! I got my Dreidel phone. A caller reported hitting a deer on the way to work. The caller believed the deer was dead because its tongue was sticking out of its mouth. And no, not because its intestines were sloshing all over the median. But I swear to God, I was just talking before we brought the rabbi in. I was literally just talking about in Maryland, the dead deer on the side of the road and animal. You didn't hear this, but
No, but usually the tongue's not out. They're pretty. They're like pretty much smushed, and then sometimes they're headless.
Oh
They'll
dear.
take the heads to mount.
Yeah. And I was literally talking about that about 45 minutes ago before the segment, and the fact that I saw two birds, these birds of prey, fighting over like presumably intestines, could have been a mouse right in our backyard. It was like a big wingspan, not a crow, not one of the blackbirds.
The carrion? There probably was
Yeah.
a mouse.
Yeah, but it was this long stringy thing. It was a mouse with a big owl, red,
Or maybe it's
dead-
part of something.
could have been a cat or something. I don't know.
They might have found something, flew, brought it here, dropped it, and fought over it.
Yeah, well, they use our backyard as a restaurant. And basically we're a rest stop for wildlife. They crap here, they eat here.
Tell them about the two blue jays fighting, the big one and the other one fighting.
Oh, we saw that the other day. Two blue jays, two males. Because we know we have one pair of cardinals who live right by us, and a pair of apparently blue jays that live by us. But we saw this two males just kind of flying, fluttering around our feeder.
Van Dyke is 100.
Is it today?
I don't know.
It's coming up. When is?
Born on this day.
Happy birthday, Dick Van Dyke.
But it doesn't say that. I don't understand.
Well, do a wiki of his because they've been celebrating his birthday for the past 6 months.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's his birthday. We know. But I think it's coming up though, if not today, very shortly.
When is Dick Van Dyke's birthday?
Dick Van Dyke was born on December 13th, 1925.
Today. Da, 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 da,
Who
da.
say it today?
Da, 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 da. So he actually did make. I was so worried because they've been building up and talking about Dick Van Dyke and interviewing him and checking up on him and saying happy birthday, happy. And I was like, he hasn't hit 100 yet. Don't give him the Kanina Hura. It was, what was her name? Betty White? She was gearing towards it.
How old was she? Yeah, well, he looks pretty good. I mean,
He is
he
100.
did a lot of physical falling with Mary Tyler Moore, right?
Well, he was in great physical condition for so many years. But also, you're right, he took falls. I'm sure, like Chevy Chase, he broke everything. He was also an alcoholic.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
David, Dick Van Dyke?
Yeah. We had a big drinking problem for a bunch of years. So he pulled himself out of that, and he made it in great comparative shape to the big 100.
Hey, look, this is nice. Show this one. It's like a montage of his stuff.
There he is. Look at him. There he is, man. I guess Mary Poppins. That might be Chitty Chitty Bang Bang there,
Probably
and
the
then
big...
him.
Oh,
We have another call. Another call in the Daverhood to. I'm going to use the potato
I
phone.
don't know about this one.
What? Show me.
I mean, I know actors know each other, but that's a little bizarre.
I don't remember if he ever did a guest shot on the Monsters. I don't think so.
Maybe they recorded next to each other. The thing is, on the Facebook, there's not a lot of explanation of pictures.
Yeah, and I think Dick Van Dyke was done before the Monsters went on the air, but I could be wrong about that. Anywho, potato phone. A caller at an assisted living facility on Reservoir Road reported that a suspicious vehicle had been parked in the lot for a few hours. She called back shortly after to report that it was her boss's car. So, yeah.
That's good, like you have to have a neighborhood watch.
No, it is, especially outside an assisted living. Oh no, everybody run! My wife, the gerontologist, is looking at me like, no, you don't. Catch a phone. A caller at an unknown liquor store, I hardly know her, complained that the store sold alcohol to her underage daughter. She confronted her daughter about it.
Oh, God.
And the daughter told her that the store was known to sell to minors.
Oh.
Hey, miners have a hard time getting all that coal and diamonds out of the ground. I think they're entitled to a drink or two.
That's true.
Yeah. It does occur to me that Jewish parents are breaking the law when they have a bris, and they used to do the thing where
God, David.
they don't give them any anesthetic, they don't do anything to the child, or they're cutting part of its frickin' penis off, except they would literally take their finger and put it in a glass of wine and put it in the baby's mouth to sort of anesthetize it or something, because to make it a little bit, as they say, shicker, a little bit drunk, so that it wouldn't feel the pain so much. That's technically, that is giving alcohol to a minor.
I think it's
Not to mention
it's
cutting
like
it.
My aunt used to do it when my teeth came in. Oh my God, she would chase me around the house.
Yeah.
She believed you take brandy and you squeeze the gum and it makes the tooth go straight. I don't know.
She was breaking the law.
That's right. She was. Oh, this one's cute.
Let me see. Oh, happy birthday, Dick Van Dyke.
Did you show your pictures of yours?
Yeah, on my phone I did. Yeah.
No, on yours.
I think on my phone I did earlier.
Yeah, your phone. My phone has the pictures of you.
Oh yeah, we haven't gotten to those yet. But right now we're in the middle of Greeley Times, which are phone calls that really came into the Greeley and Weld County Police Department. Oh, I'm going to use the coaster phone.
Aren't you supposed to use the Dreidel phones for Hanukkah?
Oh, only the Dreidel. I'm sorry. Here come the Dreidel phones. Maybe they'll put a spin on this story.
No.
Yellow. Where are you? Oh, okay, a caller on... Thank you. A caller on 35th Avenue saw a woman in a wheelchair with a bow on her head
Oh.
asking people for money. At least she didn't have an arrow on her head. The woman got out of the wheelchair, and the caller was worried that someone would hit her. Actually, if I thought she were faking, I'd smack her. But, thank you very much.
Just because you're in a wheelchair doesn't mean you can't walk. I mean,
True.
sometimes, people with MS and other things, they can walk. They just need they can't stand for long. I guess,
I don't know.
Why are they calling the police? Oh, here, again.
Well, no, they were afraid to get her out of traffic or something. Oh, Dreidel phone. A caller on 10th Avenue saw a man walking past her window
Oh, no.
wearing two of her blankets.
How do you know that? Okay, let me just tell you something.
Yes.
Unless it's a homemade blanket made by your nana, it could be if I go to Kohl's and get a blanket, hundreds of people could have that
Well,
blanket.
it's true. I'm thinking, because I'm tight, that maybe it was a policeman undercover. Thank you very much. Let's do another. These are all from the Greeley Tribune's cop log. A caller
Oh, sorry.
on 13th Street. I'm going to use the poo phone for this one. A caller on 13th Street saw a strange car missing a rear tire and driving only on the rim. I used to do that on my bicycle. I was so,
You have to do that if your car's broke down and you're in a place like we saw the dead car in the middle of the street. Tell
Oh, I
them
remember
that.
that. Yeah, well,
It's better
yeah,
he's
you tell.
trying to drive somewhere. No, you say he's trying to drive somewhere and probably get out of traffic.
What I don't understand is, A, if you have three reasonably pumped up tires, why would the fourth, wouldn't three of them carry the fourth? Or no?
Because it's
No?
like,
Yeah.
it's like, but I understand it. Like, imagine it's in a rural place.
Yeah.
In Greeley, there are a lot of places that are rural. You're not going to say, there's no cell phone and there's no GPS. No one's going to find you. You're not going to go to the house because they're going to, shoot you. So you basically have to drive to a, place. Why didn't he say, why didn't he call him and try to get the...
I guess he just wanted to get home or get to a place.
Get the police to help him.
That's a good point.
I mean, that's what he needs.
Well, the guy didn't call. A caller saw the guy driving on the rim and
Yeah,
called
he
the
should call
cops.
and say,
Yeah.
help him.
But I used to, there was a point where I was doing that on the bicycle. And because every time I stopped riding a bicycle when I was living in Colorado because I would get a flat.
Well, we have those briar things, right? Little briars.
The stickler thing. And at a certain point, I'm like, I've got a mile to go. I'm just going to drive on this.
Fix it? You avoided.
What?
Didn't you avoid it where you got some gel or something?
Yeah, sometimes there's do this kind of thing. There's a goo that goes in the tire that the prickles can't get through, so it'll keep it. It didn't work. Every time I would go for a bike ride, and then halfway there,
Oh, honey, look at this.
yeah, and then what is that?
S'mores, miniature menorah.
Oh, yeah. So halfway through to getting wherever I go, I get a flat, and then at a certain point, I stop. Yay! I stop getting off the bike, and just I'm just gonna ride this damn thing. I don't care. I want to walk for 2 miles now, just on the bike. I'm gonna ride it until I can, and then they say, "Hey, you messed up the rim." I'm like, I don't care. I'm not gonna drive this damn thing anymore. I can't ride a bike happily in Colorado. No matter what you put in the tire, and what goo or sealant that you do around the rim, I'm just done. I'm just done. I literally don't even have bicycles here in Maryland. Oh, another phone call. Back to the Dreidel phone. Hello. A caller on 49th Avenue Court. Ooh, I guess we're going to court. Said the neighbors have a couple of dogs, and it sounded like the big dog was trying to mate with the small dog. Wondering what that sounds like. Would you know? You would know if two dogs were fighting or snarling.
Yeah.
Would you know the sound of a big dog trying to get it on? It's like, hey, baby. Get on all, you are on all fours.
Get on like Tinder or something.
Let's do a doggy style. So, no, I'm not interested. Yeah, you am. You am. I don't even. It would be interesting to hear that and decide that's what you were hearing. I wonder about that. Let's do one more call, and then we'll do elsewhere. Back to the Dreidel phone. Big Dreidel phone. A caller at an unknown address saw a man in the construction area behind her house with a flashlight. Officers contacted the man, who said he had permission to dumpster dive at the site.
Wow.
You can get permission? Like, how do you ask to go, like, can I go in your dumpster? Because I would do that. I would love to put on a glove.
Stores don't want it, so they destroy their merchandise so people don't get it free from the dumpster.
Well, food. They
Or
pour rat
anything,
poison.
like Marshalls or any of like Kohl's. I think they don't want you going in there because if they throw out things that they have to and they're good,
Yeah.
so I don't think they want you getting stuff for free.
Yeah, if something was $23.99 a day ago, and then corporate says throw it out, and you just dump it out, and somebody suddenly has like this item they could have paid for in the day, or I get it. So, but this guy apparently had permission to go into the dumpster. Pretty cool. I guess construction area. Remember a couple of weeks ago we talked about that guy who was stealing like tower legs?
I know, that was so weird. Like, what an unusual steal. Like, there are many things I would take, but I don't get that.
Well, maybe behind the construction site, you really get like cool stuff that you can resell to other construction firms or architects or things like that, I guess.
Yeah, but it's like, of all things to steal, why wouldn't they go to like a Home Depot for that?
Oh, good point. Anywho, we have an elsewhere. We have an elsewhere. It's time for a story that doesn't come from Greeley, Colorado at all. This one is from a place a lot closer to where we are in Maryland. This is from Virginia. This is an elsewhere.
Uh-oh.
From Ashland, Virginia, elsewhere. So yes, we like to throw in a story or two of weird, stuff that isn't from where we were living in Colorado. He was trashed.
Uh-oh.
A raccoon got into an Ashland, Virginia liquor store.
Oh, I know. That was...
Yeah.
God.
There's a picture of this somewhere. And then went on a drunken rampage. After leaving behind a trail of messed up shelves,
Drunken raccoon in Virginia rampage.
toppled boxes, and broken liquor bottles, he did what anyone else does in that situation. He went into the bathroom and passed out near the toilet. This is real. This is the actual. This is a raccoon.
I think they made a shelter made images of it and it's collecting money.
Really? Oh, to save it?
No, there was a raccoon who ravaged a shelter, I think.
Oh, I'm sure it did, yeah. So a spokesperson for animal control said, quote, "They are funny little animals." She explained that this raccoon had fallen through a ceiling tile.
Oh, they have things that say, "I must rest, my rampage is over."
Oh, let me see. Is it him? Is it there? There he is.
I've never seen, how do they open, oh, because they have little hands. How do they open the bottles?
Well, you can smash him and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, he went on a rampage. She said they brought him to the shelter, but decided, quote, to let him sober up before questioning.
The shelter did something.
Excuse me.
They call it Trash Panda.
Oh!
Did a shelter make any money off of the drunken raccoon in Virginia? I thought the shelter made a...
Yes, the Hanover County Animal Shelter in Virginia made a lot of money, raising over $150,000, possibly close to $200,000, from the viral drunken raccoon incident. They did this by selling merchandise. The money supports the shelter's operations and animal care.
There you go. So yay for the trash panda.
He didn't. I thought he trashed the shelter. He didn't trash the shelter.
No, he trashed the liquor store.
And then they took him to the shelter to get...
I'm hoping that the shelter gave the liquor store some of that dough. He's the guy who probably lost about $200, $300 worth of merch.
I'm sure they have, I'm sure they have, hopefully didn't get any
insurance.
Antique liquors.
I wonder if you're a liquor store and a couple of bottles smash, is that insured? It's not.
Because that's your...
Yeah.
It's like any store. If you like, I'm sure any store that has damage, like if you're in a store, someone break a plate, I'm sure they have coverage for that. Where X amount of...
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Maybe if it's over something.
Yeah.
But if he broke that much stuff and got, they probably...
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, if you topple a box and there's nothing breakable in it, you just have to, it's a pain in the ass to clean.
No,
but broken liquor bottles is a thing.
Who knows which ones he broke?
Yeah. She said, the woman from Animal Control said, they brought the animal to the shelter, but, quote, decided to let him sober up before questioning. And then, quote, after a few hours of sleep and zero signs of injury, other than maybe a hangover and poor life choices.
Okay, he must have had a little headache.
Yeah, he was safely released back into the wild. He's lucky he didn't get cut. He's like, if he's toppling bottles and breaking bottles and then sopping up whatever spills out of them, he's got to be pretty careful with his paws and where he's stepping and stuff. Apparently he was.
He was probably very limber.
So there we go.
I'm surprised he didn't bring his friends,
Well, he fell through a tile. It's not like he came in through the front door and could have let another wildlife. He probably just got in, as these creatures do, to chimneys and crawl spaces and attics. And, there they are. Let's do one more elsewhere, because we actually have a bunch of elsewheres this week. This was reported by the Shepherd Express. Here we go. We're going to grab this one. And this happened just about a month ago on November 14th. A mom. Aww. A mom popped into Wright Elementary School to deliver some paperwork. Well, she left her 10-year-old son in the car outside.
No.
When she returned to the parking lot, well, the car was gone.
Yeah.
A witness saw the car leaving the lot quickly and recklessly. Assuming her car had been stolen with her son in it, the woman called police. When the cops, first place they went, they checked the family home about a mile away. There was the car. There was the kid in the house with his dad. The boy explained he had had an argument with his mother.
Oh, wow.
And he drove himself home.
Welcome to the country.
10. He was 10.
And so how far did he live? A mile?
About a mile away.
That's pretty good. And he didn't crash the car. That's really good.
No, and because of his age, he was not charged. I took driving lessons, didn't even take in high school.
Because of his age, he should have been charged, right?
Well, no, I mean, he's a minor. I mean, really a minor.
Yeah, but what happens if he was 15 and didn't have a license? Like, I would have written him up in something and said, be careful.
Yeah, well, all right, citation, reckless driving, whatever. Maybe he didn't drive recklessly. Maybe he was actually very, very careful, went slow, watched his mom and dad
Did the
drive.
father wonder how the son got home without the mother?
What do you mean?
You said he was watching TV with his dad. Didn't the father wonder, like, where's my wife? Like, the car's in the driveway.
Oh, that's a
son's
good
here.
point.
Like, where's my wife?
He probably figured she was outside in the car for a long time.
Yeah, for like 2 hours.
Like dropped him off or something. I don't know. Maybe he didn't even know he was in the car with her. He's 10 years old. He could have been in the neighborhood playing with kids or walking around or in the yard. Good point. Good point.
I mean, that's bizarre.
Anyway, let's get back to regular Greeley criminality on Coplog on Dave's Gone By. Ooh, what do we have here? Let's get back to the Dreidel phone. A story coming from... Where is this? Oh, this story is both cute and disturbing
Oh, great.
at the very same time.
That's nice.
A caller on 11th Avenue saw a little white dog wearing a Kermit the Frog sweater. The dog was tied up next to some propane tanks. There he is. I guess he's Hank Hill's dog or something like that.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, the cute part is, of course, he's wearing an adorable Sesame Street sweater. The not so cute part is they have him tied up next to these tanks that could,
Propane? Huh?
yeah, I guess could blow up. They're not going to. I mean, any hardware stores can have propane tanks. But anywho,
Sometimes these need way more info than we have, David, you know?
that's true. That's fair. And then one more. A caller. Let's get the potato phone. Hi. A caller.
Did you do it? It says. Oh, never mind. No, I sent you. Okay. I'm reading your.
A caller on 9th Avenue reported that a woman threatened to light him on fire. That's not nice. I guess the time to hesitate was through. Anywho, this is Dave's Gone By, and that, thanks very much, by the way, to not only Chris Boland, but this week Andrea Grajeda are the people who collaborated on Greeley Times, or Coplog, in the Greeley Tribune.
They're passing the gauntlet.
Maybe, or maybe it's just Chris is on holiday or something, but
Yeah. Oh,
thank
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
to both of them for Coplog and Greeley Times on Dave's Gone By.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool.
Oh, no.
I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yeah.
Yippee-yi, 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 yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is about 11:45 Eastern Time here in the Daverhood. You're watching the 1011th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream live on Saturday, December 13th, 2025, day before the first night of Hanukkah. We're calling this episode, see if you can guess, Schatz Creek, because, of course, our guest was Matt Schatz in the Daverhood. We thank him very much. We still have stuff to do on this episode of the show. So we'll have Rabbi Sol Solomon reading from the children's book Mendel's Hanukkah Mess Up. And we also have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, which is going to Cherry Creek, Colorado, a place my wife and I have actually been. And then Rabbi Sol Solomon will also have a rabbinical reflection about the countries that are ducking out of the 2026 Eurovision Song Contest. So still much, much fun ahead on this pre-Hanukkah episode of the Dave's Gone By Show. Before we get to some or most or all of that, it was a quiet week. We were so busy with work and everything else. Well, I need your phone.
No, you have
Oh, I have your phone.
Yes.
You have my phone.
I'm
Oh.
looking at your Facebook to see if anybody wrote in.
So let me see. So, first of all, one of the things that my wife and I are doing for the holiday, that for some reason, just for funsies, we kind of celebrate Hanukkah. We light the candles every year because it's pretty, it's fun, it's and this year, in honor of all the potatoes we have, including recently purchased new very cute potato, but not as cute as classic Spuds potatoes. What is that face? Look at him. Look at him. Well, we thought this was a potato. This is actually a jelly donut for Hanukkah. And these are potatoes that had to run in with a fryer. And a pope. And of course, and Chanukah llama time. Uh-oh. Where do you press him to make him, he needs a battery. Chanukah llama usually sings a song of Hanukkah. 8 nights. Very sad. Very sad. Anywho, he's the Hanukkah llama. But we have, in honor of our potatoes, we've been putting together a garland of ketchup. Because if you know our love for potatoes, they have to eat. And the one thing our potatoes love to eat more than anything else is ketchup. Heinz especially, the organic Heinz, the Heinz not with no sugar or the low salt, but without the corn syrup, the really good Heinz quality ketchup. They love it. So we've been finding ornaments for the past year or two. And even though, I'm not Jewish, my wife was raised Christian, but is not Christian, but we put together a garland of these little ketchup ornaments we've been finding, either authentic Heinz ketchups or these little cute ornaments in the shape of ketchup, and we're going to be putting that in our window for the Hanukkah holiday. So, where was I going with this? So that's what we're doing in terms of ketchupizing. Why did I bring that up? Uh-oh. So that's one of the things that we're doing for the Hanukkah holiday, is kind of like we're stringing up these Hanukkah bags up here. Oh, that's why I wanted to show you the photo. And in the midst of our thinking of this plan to string the Hanukkah lights along, or sorry, the ketchup lights along to, come on, stupid phone, here we go. We went to a restaurant that we often go to here in Maryland, and we noticed that in their window all year long, they have a tree with various ornaments, and take a look. Look what they got. Ketchup in its nascent form. They have an ornament shaped like a tomato. And it was really, and they also have an ornament shaped like a pickle, if you can see that too. But look at that, the beautiful tomato holiday ornament. And it was embarrassing, actually, and annoying, because we're there to eat, and one of our potatoes saw this and started literally screaming, I want that, and tried to take it. And we kept saying, no, it's not yours, this is the restaurant, it's their tree, and it's their items. And potatoes, they're young, they don't understand. I want it! Potato. So we worked especially hard to put together a ketchup garland that the potatoes can enjoy here at home. And if we ever find the tomato ornament, we will of course get it for you, potato. But that's one of the images we took this week. Let's see if there's other images worth sharing here. Was a grand opening. We tried this place in Hunt Valley, which is a couple of miles from where we live, Hunt Valley, Maryland, kind of a more commercial than residential area. So we went to the grand opening, there's me, with a garland of balloons behind me this past week, and it's a restaurant called Tous les Jours. Tous les Jours. And it's sort of a bittersweet thing because there had been a coffee shop there for years that my wife loved. That was like her favorite place to go for her iced tea for the past like three and a half years that we've lived here in Maryland. And they closed it for whatever reason. This coffee shop, and it was Pete's. So they have franchises all over the place. This particular one, corporate decided to close. And we were wondering what the hell's going to come in there. So they opened a coffee and tea place called Tous les Jours. And we were wondering what the hell it is. We thought we'd try it. We were there for like grand opening week. And we go in and it was okay. It's a weird little place. They have like a cross between a bakery and a Wawa. So they have all these pre-made little, and a Starbucks. You kind of have these little pastry things and light snacky food things, along with coffee and I guess tea that you can get. But they're already out there. You're sort of serving yourself. You bring it up to the counter. And it wasn't bad. My wife had an onion and mushroom, I wouldn't call it a croissant. It was more like just a little pastry thing that served perfectly well for a nice lunch. And me, if you see here, we have, I hear the Chanukah llama playing. We have that hot dog there, which they wrapped the hot dog kind of like, not a corn dog, but in a pretzel-y pastry, and it was very good. Wasn't the healthiest, greatest food ever, and it wasn't quite what I was expecting from a pâtisserie. It was very nice and reasonably priced. So we're like, okay, not too bad. Welcome to Tous les Jours. It's not going to take the place of the old coffee place that we quite liked, but wasn't. But we would try there again. But this was a picture of me outside the Tous les Jours restaurant. I think I have another one here. Kind of looking very very hip outside this establishment. Oh, and then where were we? Oh, this was at local university here, where they had this interesting sculpture outside that I'm trying to mimic. They have an arts building, which is quite impressive. I didn't realize it seems more newly built than the rest of the campus. It's got a couple of theaters in it. Was really kind of happy to check out the facilities. I actually didn't get to go into the theaters, but it was kind of cool to see the insides and the lobby of this place, and to see, whoa, the arts people have it pretty good. I heard it. I could hear it working.
I did some repair.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a brand new battery, what kind of battery did it take? One of those little nightcans?
Remember we bought the 3-pack in Ace, that big
Yeah.
and so it took 3 of the 130s. Yeah.
3 of them for this? Yeah. Wow. Here it is. Chanukah Llama. Everybody, wish Llama a happy Chanukah. Chanukah. Oh, right. I have it here. Yeah. You can't really see all that. I'm hoping this isn't copyrighted music, but okay. Thank you, Chanukah Llama, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see him again after last year. Thank you for changing the battery out in him. Yes. Yes, happy holidays, ladies and gentlemen. It's 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time here in the Daverhood in the East Coast, Northern Maryland. We're doing our 1011th episode called Schatz Creek of Dave's Gone By. We still have our Colorado Limerick of the Dam to do and Rabbi Sol's Rabbinical Reflection. Let's do, what else do we have to talk about? I just did the photos. We didn't, as I said, in terms of things to talk about or do this week.
Not a lot.
It's
We went to a bunch of craft shows at the library. Did you talk about that?
No. It was we went through our local library had its annual craft fair, and it was just like in this tiny room.
Pop-up Maker's Mark or something.
Yeah, and it was like the funny, the greatest thing.
You
Yeah.
had the lime pudding.
The what?
Key lime.
Oh well. Oh yeah. Was that at the library or the other place?
Oh, the other place. Yeah.
So at the library, there was just like this rather strange man playing a keyboard in this small room doing like holiday festival songs. It was almost sad. I mean, this is a great library and very well used by the community. But in terms of like festive gloriosity, it was like this one-day pop-up thing for a couple of hours at the library with about 10 booths of people selling the usual, quilted, knitted, put together earring, candle crap. But then this guy doing the piano in front of all of it. It was kind of like, okay, all righty. We were literally in and out of the room in about 3 minutes. It's just like, let's just take a little spin and anything, nothing. And then we went to one of our usual, I keep calling it a thrift store, but one of our usual, what do you call it? Craft fair haunts at the Methodist Church. And that was a little more fun. And they have the food people that I always go to. I have really, really yummy key lime pie cup that they did. This was nice. It was creamy. It had the crust on it. It was that kind of made my day. I had a good apple pie too. I mean, it was.
You didn't have apple pie. You had a pretzel.
I got an apple pie from somewhere. Oh, that was from. Thank you. That was from someone at work. No, the pretzel with mustard was perfectly good. Nothing special. They had. What do I want to say about pie and the food at the fair? Not sure. I mean, we walked around. I think we got one or two cute little tchotchke things at this other fair we went to at the Methodist Church. But pie, I was on pie for some reason. And key lime and... Nope, not lost it. But anywho, so that was cool.
What you did on the weekend, what you did.
Yeah, just going to a couple of these fairs. We also went to a ceramic fair at that university that I mentioned, and that was all right. I mean, it was basically students of all, upper ages.
I think we went late, though.
Oh, yeah, but I don't know if we missed anything more than would have been there. There's a lot of mugs and cute, what do we call it? Jewelry, not even jewelry things, like just stuff you put in. Ceramics, yeah. Like, if you like ceramics, it was a great place to be. If it's just something that's going to clutter up your place and you have to dust every once in a while, not my thing. But it was nice to go. It was nice to see different things, do different things this time of year locally, and especially before the weather gets intolerable for any kind of period of time. But that was it. The rest of our week was basically eating, working, sleeping, doing. Okay. We've had many, many worse weeks this year, and especially out of the Daverhood. We've had a year. So to have a week where, we just did what we do. Can't really complain about that. But I have an idea. Before we get to bring the rabbi back to do his stuff, let's play a game. Should you choose to accept it? I'm going to play this with my dear and wonderful wife. See if you're up. What?
I didn't know but
what?
Apparently this raccoon has raided more than one business.
Really? It's saying that this raccoon has been a serial break-in artist. Well, I guess he goes to supermarkets and goes into the cereal aisle.
Well, how do they know it's the same one?
Maybe animal control knows. So euthanize it. Get rid of it.
Not euthanize it. Move it to a place.
I guess, maybe he's like a cat. He can come back and find his way. But anywho, let's take a few minutes, since it is almost Hanukkah, and play a game, ladies and gentlemen. Because sometimes we play games on here. We played cornhole, and desktop cornhole, and desktop mini golf. This is, since we have a dreidel for Hanukkah. Are you up for this, babe? Here we go. So a special dreidel game for us to play.
Maybe do the little.
Well, I'll do it on here so that we can. But so there are 4. If you've ever played dreidel, it's a great way to get children into gambling. So you have 4 letters, one on each side of the dreidel. You have Gimel. Well, these are all Hebrew letters. Gimel, there's shin. We've got,
Where's
let me do it this way,
Nun?
nun, and then we also have, where is hey? Hey. And each one represents a certain thing. If you're playing for money, it has different quantities. But we're going to play for something different rather than stakes like that. So here's the deal. If you land on nun, and it's your turn, if you land on nun, you have to do a bad imitation of a celebrity. If you land on gimel, you have to feed our potato his ketchup from the ketchup bottle. If we land on hay, we have to do the brand new button that we have of dad jokes. We have to play a dad joke.
Wow, okay. That's very complicated. You're following this, though, right?
Oh, yeah, and I have it written down. And then shin, which is the bad letter, the letter you don't want to get. Shin is you have to complain about something unbelievably trivial.
Or how about you get a picture of a snowman?
Which is or something like that, which is unbelievably Jewish. Are you up for the game, dear?
Sure.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, let's hear it. Okay, I'll give you a little fun music.
So we're going to do our first spin. And unfortunately, you can't really see it spinning on the thing. I can lower it. There it goes. Gimel! So Gimel is... Oh, by the way, who goes first? You, all right. I have to do a bad impersonation of a celebrity. So I guess I got to go with Peter Lorre. Because everybody has to go with him. Shut up, llama! It goes on for 10 years.
He's got new batteries.
Hanukkah. Thank you.
It just
Okay.
cuts off like mid-Hanukkah.
Yeah. So do a bad impersonation of a celebrity. I'll start with Peter Lorre. It's like, yes, it's Hanukkah, and it's time to play the dreidel. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, do you want to spin down there? Because you have that.
No, you do it for
All
me.
right. This is my wife's spin. They should call this Spin City. You also got a gimel.
I can't do an impression.
It's supposed to be bad. You have to do a bad impression of a celebrity. I can't do yours.
You do an impression of me doing an impression of a celebrity.
How? Okay. I could do maybe you because you are you've written books.
Okay, do an impression.
But now I got like, oh. No, I'm getting no. Anything I do, I will pay for the rest of the weekend.
Impression of me.
No, I can't. Let me think of another celebrity that I can do. Well, one of my better impressions, Tom Waits. Tom Waits reading from.
Why don't you do an impression of me doing?
You doing Tom Waits?
Noriega?
Oh, I was like, hi, I'm Lin-Manuel Noriega. I'm a genius. I wrote Hamilton. I suck. My wife hates him. I have no idea why she does. Okay, fair enough. Now I get to spin again. And I got 2 gimmels. No, you don't get a gimmel.
You're doing good.
He's spinning. Oh. Came down on shin. The bad one. Shin, this is complain about something unbelievably trivial. All right, so, and I do this, it's all I ever do.
What's your expertise?
Is complain about something in a Larry David sort of a way, long before anybody knew who the hell Larry David was. So what can I complain about? Now, I can complain.
You're not going to use the violin?
I'm opening it. I'm putting it up. Here. So when we went to one of those fairs, craft fairs and places last weekend, there was a guy there, nice old man, selling cookies. And I like cookie. I'll have a cookie. And I'm trying to lose a little weight, but it's like, oh, a cookie. Yummy. But he had these cookies, I swear to God, they're in a bag about the size of this phone, not even, like a little more square than rectangular. And one cookie in the bag, and they were $4 a piece. I'm sorry. It's not a slice of cake. It's a small cookie. I'm not going to pay. I know you have overhead. And I know the cost of cooking and making everything in the supermarket is crazy. But, for $4 or $5, I'll get a cake. For $6, I'll get a piece of food somewhere. If you want a cookie, $1, $2, something like that. But they'll be trying to charge for, I don't care how good it is. It can't be that good. It's a chocolate chip cookie. Don't. Or make it, if you want to make it a ganze matcha, like, ooh, this will serve 2 people, and you will really both enjoy. Okay, fine. But no. Just no. So that's my shin. There's my complaint. Are you ready for another spin, dear? You have a nun. A nun means that, not again.
I feed potato, right?
Wait a minute. Wait, I got them mixed up. For the gimmels, we got 2 gimmels at first. We should have been feeding potato ketchup.
Okay, so feed him now.
I'm going to feed him now. Yeah. Don't you... Daddy, you wrote the rules. Don't you fucking know them? I messed up nun and gimel. I'm sorry. Here. We'll change them around. So nun means potato gets ketchup. Oh, nice. Keep it coming. Okay, potato. There he goes. He's happy now. All right, I'm gonna write this down, switch this up. I can't believe it. I started the game, I announced the rules, and then I messed up the rules. So stupid. Okay, here we go. Now we know what we're doing. So if we get Gimel again, it will be doing imitation of celebrity, and Nun will be feed the potato. Oh, bad spin. Do over. Oh boy. But this is yours now. Shin, I think, is... No, wait, that was you. You were feeding the potato.
No, I fed potato.
Yeah, now I have to complain again about something unbelievably trivial.
Complain about not knowing the rules of the game?
Yes. 5 minutes before the start of this show, I was like, I want to do the Dreidel game. I'm thinking about what do I do? Hey, and I started jotting down of things to do. Made it very clear, and I vaguely remember my Jewish letters from elementary school, from going to Bialik school in Brooklyn, and yet literally I'm staring at the rules and getting them wrong. So my wife is constantly saying that, Dave, long COVID, you have memory issues, you're losing it, you're going down the tubes. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just a little deaf, so I can't hear certain things. And he's like, you don't listen, you don't pay attention. I'm like, yeah, I'm paying attention. I'm doing 10 things and I forgot one. But I'm obviously losing the thread because I can look at the rules of this and go, this is a nun, this is a gimel. So why am I doing gimel when I'm on anywho? That is my... Actually, that wasn't such a trivial complaint right there. I'm getting Alzheimer's. So,
No, you're not. What you did was even with your hard stuff, you went from like, I have shortness of breath to I need a stent. You jumped from like I have a hangnail to like I need an amputation. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Although I think in terms of amputation, I'm on the calendar at least, I'm past the cutoff date. Thank you. Let's do some more dreidel spinning. Oh, no, bad. I'll let this count. This is a gimel.
Potato feeding.
Gimel is now Gimel was and has been do a bad imitation of a celebrity.
But it should be potato.
It should have been, but we switched them.
No, we're going to do potato.
Now it'll be more potato feeding. So potato, you get more food, more ketchup for... No, only fair. We got to feed the other potato. All right, okay.
Oh my God. When you did that, the bags jumped.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's do a couple more minutes of this because I'm finding this relatively fun. Here's another. Let me do a spin maybe on my papers here. Maybe that'll help it spin a little bit. Also, okay, it fell onto my arm, but it fell onto the nun.
Okay.
So now the nun is do a bad imitation of a celebrity.
Okay.
So that's you. Whom do you want to imitate?
Who's the celebrity? do Dolly Parton.
No, it's you.
No, you gotta do it.
Oh,
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton. Okay. No, I don't want to say like I got the big C, but I'm not dying. I'm almost dying, but I'm not quite dying.
Does she have cancer?
They're not saying what actual disease she had, but she's fighting something pretty big and trying to be stoic about it, and also trying to say, rumors of my death have been a bit exaggerated, but I love you all, and I'll be back with
That is a
more
bad
music.
impression.
Yeah, I don't know who I sound. That certainly doesn't sound anything like Dolly
I
Parton,
don't know
but
who it is. I can't make it. It's like a mean parrot.
all right, let's do another spin. This one's on you, whatever it is. You have to do it. Here we go.
Okay.
Ugh. Shin. You have to complain about something trivial.
I have a hangnail.
Do you really?
Yeah, and I'm having trouble concentrating because I need to cut it.
That is
Yes,
annoying.
that's
Yeah.
annoying.
Does it hurt?
And then I can't find
Yeah. Well, we'll go save it. If you have another complaint, you might
okay,
get. Yeah.
okay.
So one hangnail will do. Hangnail. But is it hurty or it's just annoying?
That's not good.
I hate my hangnails because
It's
you
not good.
start to see that little white pus thing. It's like not nice. Here we go. Ooh, good spin. We're playing Dreidel on Dave's Gone By. Nun. Nun
What is it?
is now, or was it all? Now I don't know which
What's
to
the
do.
original? What does it say on the paper?
Originally, it was do a bad imitation of a not one hay. But this time, didn't we give potato ketchup on the nun then?
No, on here in the Gimel.
All right, we have another imitation of a celebrity. Another imitation of a celebrity. Who's a celebrity? That I can even.
Who's funny? Carol Channing.
Oh. Ow. It's more Harvey Firestein. Well, we're going to read from Chanukah story. Lexaby and the Judah Maccabees. Okay, thank you very much. They're supposed to be bad imitations of celebrity. Technically, if I do Carol Channing, the imitation would be like, since she's been, underground for almost a decade. But anywho, let's do one or two more spins of the dreidel on this dreidel game on this episode of the Dave's Gone By show. This one's yours, whatever comes up. Spinny, spinny. Mazel tov. You get the easy one, though. Hey, which means you have to press the button and do a dad joke.
What do you call a fat psychic? A four-chin teller.
Tasteless,
I think that was.
sizist.
I think that was.
Joyce thinks this joke is... Yes, we bought this
Let me
also.
take him out of the thing. You can play with them.
You want to take him out? Yeah.
I don't want to play with him. He's kind of stuck in it.
Yes, we have a pen. This is what you buy. This is not from a novelty shop like back in the day. This isn't from like Lou Tannen's Joke Emporium, even though it was a magic
I
emporium.
remember we got something like this in Chinatown in San Francisco years ago. But yeah.
It's a pen, a functioning pen that also is a toilet with like Mr. Clean or whatever coming out of it, or a Tidy Bowl, and a poo inside it. Yeah. These are the kinds of things my wife and I spend money on when we go to Kohl's. There it is. But it's fun, isn't it? Anywho, all right, one or two more spins, and then we will table, on this table, the dreidel game. This one goes to me. Hope it's another hay. Spinning, spinning.
What is it?
Shin again.
Okay,
I have to complain about something unrelentingly and unbelievably trivial. Usually this is really easy for me. What can old Dave complain about today that I haven't already complained about? Something involving... Oh, yes, okay. I think I have, I'm not sure, but I think I have a dental appointment this week for my semi-annual checkup. We waited until the semester was over and putting on, I think it's Friday, I'm going to the dentist, which is fine. Like the dentist, she's very good, and blah, blah, blah. She'll check my teeth and stuff. But last time I was there, they were kind of hawking and unrelenting about electric toothbrush. So we've been using this with these replaceable
You don't like it?
heads. It's great. It's fine. I actually, it's fine. I put the toothpaste on. But the electric toothbrush is on this stand, which is this tiny white little, it's not ceramic, it's plastic, but it's a ceramic looking stand with a little tit standing up on it. So you take the toothbrush and you keep it on the tit holder until you use it the next day, right? And for whatever reason, I guess during the whole overnight hours, because you're brushing your teeth and using toothpaste, the schmuck, the wetness and the stuff that's still on the brush, even after you've run it under cold water and cleaned it off, there's still stuff that over the hours drips down onto the stand that this toothbrush is on. So every damn day or every other day, you pick the toothbrush up off the stand, and instead of this nice...
This is not a minor, this is like a 30-minute watch.
Well, I'm trying to explain. Okay. This is a complaint about something unbelievably trivial. And you have to go there and now wipe down this, it's not enough the pain in the ass of having to brush your teeth every day, but you've got to go and take your finger or take a little paper towel and rub off and wipe off this green schmuck on the stand. It's not like every week or so or every 2 weeks. It's every other day. The thing gets like almost crusty with the drippings of the toothpaste that has come down from this electric toothbrush. And if they could fucking figure out a self-cleaning toothbrush holder, this would make me very, very happy. I would like them to do that. Shin. Okay, let's give you one more. Hey. You were born under a lucky star. You get hay.
I was not actually.
Hay is the push the button for dad jokes.
Oh, great.
Well, oh, you rather complain about something?
Did you hear about the chameleon who couldn't change color? He had a reptile dysfunction.
That's funny right there. That's hilariously funny. A reptile dysfunction. Yeah. Last one. Okay, let's look at this. I hope I get complaint now because I've actually chipped this.
How do you chip the Dreidel?
How do I chip it? It's wooden. I don't know. Please let it be shin so I can complain about shitty painted dreidels. Hold on. Oh, bad spin. Bad spin. Come on. No, I'm going to, come on. There's got to be one good new spin. There we go. There we go. Hey, we end on a dad joke. Here we go.
You do it.
All right, here it is.
Show
this
them,
is
show what it says.
the brand new dad joke button.
Because old dads are like a barber from the 1920s or 30s. Right?
Well, they wouldn't be telling the erectile dysfunction joke. That wouldn't. Here we go.
I was in my garden and saw 10 ants running frantically. So I made them a little house out of cardboard. I guess that makes me their landlord and them my 10 ants.
Hell of a way to end the game, huh? Yeah. 10 ants. Get it? 10 ants. 10 ants. 10 ants, 10 ants, 10 ants, 10 ants, 10 ants. You're watching Dave's Gone By, our 1011th edition of the program, live on this Saturday, December 13th, 2025. Hanukkah edition. We're also calling it Schatz Creek in honor of our guest, Matt Schatz, who was kind enough to join us earlier. So now, because it's Hanukkah, let's get Jewy again. We have Rabbi Sol Solomon coming back to do two different things. One of which is that he's going to read Storytime, a Hanukkah story. Let me just get this out of there. Written by Hannah and Larry Stiefel, called Mendel's Hanukkah Mess Up. Oh, you don't want to miss this. But before we bring the rabbi back for that, we also have him doing one of his mini sermons, what we call his Rabbinical Reflections. Started doing this way back when on the show, because this is his 199th sermon his 199th reflection, where he talks about Judaism, life, culture, the world at large. And his subject this week is the news that about a week ago, Eurovision was hit with defections, if you will. A couple of the countries that usually participate in their Eurovision Song Contest, which is big in every other country except this one. Among the countries, and I don't have them in front of me, but Iceland, Slovenia, Ireland, and Spain. I think those are the four. And well, Iceland just joined this week. They are boycotting Eurovision because Israel was allowed to compete. They figure, oh, we don't want to be in any competition that Israel is in. Well, Rabbi Sol Solomon has some thoughts about this decision and these countries. So he's done a rabbinical reflection about it, his 199th, about Eurovision. So he'll be doing that, and then he will do our story time with us. So let me share my screen again. Let me find that. This is me right here. There's my iTunes. There's that. And here's Rabbi Sol Solomon, the one, the only, the Jewish, and he's complaining about something that is not entirely trivial. Shalom, damn it! This is Rabbi Sol Solomon with a rabbinical reflection for mid-December 2025. Oh, I feel like bursting into song, a song of hate. It's dedicated to the 4 countries that are boycotting Eurovision 2026. The Eurovision Song Contest, in case you didn't know, and if you're American, it's like soccer. You know, but you don't really give a shit. Eurovision holds an annual competition. Countries across the world submit their dumbest, most homogenized tunes for the honor of winning a glass microphone. The contest started in 1956, and it's a global phenomenon, launching the careers of ABBA, Celine Dion, and Lulu, who won a Eurovision 1969 prize with a song called Boom Banga Bang, which should give you some idea of the profundity of this contest. Still, who doesn't love a catchy song? And like the Olympics, Eurovision is supposed to be an international alliance, free of politics and posturing. And I am Marie of Romania. Actually, Romania is not the problem. They're participating in Eurovision 2026, as are Finland, Albania, Serbia, Malta, Portugal, France, Italy, a host of Eastern and Western European countries with lousy songs to share. 4 nations, however, have withdrawn from the competition. Why? They are boycotting because Israel has been allowed to take part. See, they feel that Israel's revenge for October 7th has been a terrible genocide, and therefore heaven forfend that they should share the stage with Israeli Jews. So many times I have explained that Hamas is the real cause of Palestinian suffering, not Bibi, not Trumpy, not the IDF. When you lie down with terrorists, you wake up dead, which is an oxymoron, so I dedicate it to the maximorons of these useless countries, Spain, Slovenia, Netherlands, and Ireland. In fact, the head of the Irish Eurovision fan club told the New York Times, and I quote, "I can't see us returning as long as Israel is involved," unquote. Now, granted, being Irish, he was probably drunk, but that's no excuse. Remember when the Irish and Jews got along? In the 1960s, Dublin even had an Orthodox Jewish mayor who had worked with the IRA. But in recent years, the IRA aligned with the PLO, so FUC came them. And that goes for Irish music too. Van Morrison's an asshole, Riverdance gives me headaches, and Enya puts me to sleep faster than a 30-milligram Ambien. As for the Netherlands, their broadcasting arm explained that having Israel in Eurovision is, quote, not compatible with the responsibility we bear. The Dutch responsible. These are the people who told the Nazis, hey, that girl you're looking for, she's up in the attic. Another country taking a moral anti-Israel stance is Slovenia. Since breaking from Yugoslavia in 1991, Slovenia has given the world so many things, like more Slovenians. I'd also make an alcoholism joke, but I already used it on the Irish. That leaves Spain, a curious people, an inquisitive people. In fact, their Inquisition murdered, tortured, or forced into conversion tens of thousands of Jews. Remember, too, that for sport, Spaniards lasso an innocent bull, infuriate it, and then stab it in various places until it collapses. Que diversión! So this loathsome foursome, the Dutch, the Slavs, the Mix and the Spicks, they all think that by pulling their presence and sponsorship from Eurovision, the world will join them in dumping on Zionism. Well, the joke's on them, because the world already hates Jews anyway. If these boycotting countries had any guts, they'd write an anti-Semitic song and do that on the broadcast. Something like, Jews are stingy, Jews are dingy, bing dang, ding dang, ring-a-ding-dong. Why hide your Jew hatred behind liberal lies about Palestinian oppression? Let all the poison out. Nobody likes those big nose kites. Boogie-oogie, boom, boom, ring-a-ding-ding. The final irony that I would like to point out is that one country threatened to exit Eurovision if they didn't admit Israel. Again, I quote, it's a scandal this is even being discussed. Israel has a place there. That quote comes from Friedrich Merz, Chancellor of Germany. Well, gee, Fred, stoop the past, all is forgiven. And I am Marie of Romania. Actually, I'm not. I'm Rabbi Sol Solomon, Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. Boom, bang, a bang! Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, everyone. Shalom to you. Rabbi Sol back here live because it is time. But, I was angry there about Eurovision and all these stupid, idiotic countries. I couldn't even bitch about Iceland because Iceland waited. They're so lazy in that country. They're so cold. They can't move that when the other countries boycotted, they're like, will we join them? We don't know. Let's take our time. There's nothing else to do in this stupid country. We'll wait. And then Iceland joined the boycott like 2 days ago. So screw you, Iceland, also. Anywho, I mean, what is her great national export? Bjork? You ever listen to her music? Anywho. We are going to get happy now. Come on, say hallelujah. Come on, get happy. Because we're going to read a Hanukkah book. Hanukkah starts tomorrow, Sunday, December 14th. Tomorrow night is the first candle. So in honor of that, we're doing another Hanukkah story. Not something that I had to write out or make up, because that would make my life too annoying and difficult. No, we're going to take a book written by someone else, to someone else's, Chana and Larry Stiefel, and their book, Mendel's Chanukah Mess Up. Here it goes. Yes, of course, let's have a red-headed stepchild Jew with a noise thing and a menorah. Yes, you're basically type A Hasidic personality. Notice he's got the Latka LV license plate. Let us read from Mendel's Chanukah Mess Up for this 2025 Hanukkah holiday. Oh, there he is. Is there anything more Jewish than someone in pain and about to complain about it? I don't think so. He's holding his ears. He's squinting his eyes. Kind of looks like a Jewish Reggae cart man. All right. By the way, the illustrations are by Daphna Avadish from Kalaniot Books in Moosic, Pennsylvania. I'm wondering if that's real. I don't know, maybe not. Anywho, it's a well-made book if it's real. Maybe they're an imprint of something. Are they? An imprint of Endless Mountains Publishing Company. You got me. For Judah, Abby, Maya, and Josh would love. Of course, books like this, the author is having 25 kids. To Inga, who took me on my first adventures in New York. That is from the illustrator there, Daphna Awadish. So, yay. Let us begin. Of all the Jewish holidays, Hanukkah was Mendel's favorite. The yummy food, the glowing candles, the magical miracles, the glorious gifts. And if you notice here, if do you see these things that look familiar? Huh? Look, behold, there it is. The latkes. Not the sufganiyot, we call them. They are little jelly donuts because you're supposed to have something sweet and nice and fun on the Hanukkah holiday. Let's see some more. But when the 8-day festival began, Mendel always messed up. I'm wondering if he's borderline retarded. Just say, maybe autistic, maybe retarded, hard to tell, but from the looks of him, there's something a little wrong with him. Look at this. Look, something's going on here. Notice they all have tears in their eyes. I don't know what the hell's happening, but once Mendel was frying latkes. Instead of grating, and I apologize about this beforehand, although you'll actually like this potato. Here we go. Once Mendel was frying latkes. Instead of grating 5 plain potatoes aren't plain, they're great. Okay. And 1 eye-stinging onion, Mendel flipped it around. Oi, Mendel! So I guess there are 5 eye-stinging onions to 1 potato in his latke recipe, which has everybody crying and bitching. Then there was the night that Mendel blew it. And when he came away from his boyfriend, he placed sparklers instead of candles in the menorah. Sizzle, twizzle, pop. Oh, this would be a terrible thing. There we go. Sizzle, twizzle, pop. Oops! Bubby did not take a shine to that. Oi, Mendel. If he's messing up everything, you probably don't want to let him be the one putting the candles in the menorah. Just a thought. And no one could forget the time Mendel goofed and left a tray of jelly donuts on Rabbi Klein's chair. Splat! Oi! Mendel, it's kind of hard to get this on the screen there. Oi! Mendel, there's the rabbi's tuchis. There's either that or he's got bleeding hemorrhoids. But we're making believe they're jelly donuts. From that Hanukkah on, Mendel tried to hide behind the scenes. So no one was more flabbergasted than Mendel when Rabbi Klein offered him the best job of all. My driver isn't feeling well, the Rebbe told Mendel. I want you to drive the mitzvah mobile around town. You'll invite everyone to our big Chanukah bash and perform the greatest good deed of the holiday, sharing the miracle of Hanukkah for all to see. So, look at it. You're going to entrust this kid who put sparklers instead of candles into a menorah to drive a vehicle 30 miles an hour in a neighborhood filled with children running around the streets. Great idea. Mendel's face lit up like the giant electric menorah on the mitzvah mobile's roof. Me? Drive the mitzvah mobile? Mendel's words stuck like melted wax. What? I guess he couldn't get the word. Mendel's words stuck. Wait, where's Dave's ear thing? He had where the hell is it? Can't find anything on this damn desk. I don't know where it is. He had a thing with earwax on it. It was beautiful. Beautiful. Here it is. Mendel's words stuck like melted wax. Are you sure, Rabbi? Usually when I'm in a van, I'm the one licking the windows. Sure, I'm sure, Mendel. I have faith in you, said Rabbi Klein. What could possibly go wrong? Mendel revved the mitzvah mobile's engine. Oi, 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 oi. and waved as he turned onto Main Street. Everyone smiled and danced as the song, "Oh, Hanukkah, oh, Hanukkah, da-dam, ba-ba-dai-dam," blared from the Mitzvah Mobile's speakers. See, there he is, just going down the road. I don't know where he lives, like in the middle of Jeddah. At the park, Mendel tossed chocolate gelt to the children. "Happy Hanukkah," he shouted. "Where's the band? Did he leave it unattended? Did he jump out of it while it was still moving?" We're never told. Mendel's spirits soared as he played Dreidel in front of Nashi's Deli. At each stop, he invited the crowd to the Rebbe's big bash. Finally, Mendel turned back. It was almost candlelighting time, but he was so filled with joy, he didn't notice the big bridge. Suddenly, this is not gonna, it will end well, but we don't know what the hell's gonna happen here. Crunch! The giant menorah hit the overpass. I was not expecting this. The roof of the Mitzvah Mobile crumpled like used gift wrap. That's a good simile right there. The wheels spun like a dreidel. That's not such a good simile. And then, "Oi, I'm stuck," Mendel moaned. There you see, this is him on the front page. Mendel moaning and upset, which is the typical Jewish response. Whoop, whoop! The police arrived first. Honk, honk. Traffic started to build. Vroom, vroom. A tow truck pulled up next. So all sorts of holiday fun. I don't know what. It's Canadian. I don't know where the hell this is supposed to be taking place. No idea where those uniforms. It's not Manhattan. Beep, beep. The Channel 8 news team arrived. Mendel was mortified. "What's the story here?" asked Rachel, the reporter. Well, Mendel's words mushed like applesauce, which is pretty good because you make latkes. "I blew it again," he sighed. Then Mendel thought of the lessons Rabbi Klein taught him. He stood up taller, like the shamash. The shamash is the big lead friggin' candle there, the special candle that lights all of the others. So as Mendel faced the camera, his words began to flow like silky sour cream. You think the writers of this book were hungry when they were? Anywho, Hanukkah shows us the power of every person to make a difference, to rise up like the Jewish soldier Judah Maccabee fighting the mighty Greeks. At least he wasn't stuck by one of the Greeks, if you know what I'm saying. I think you do. He told Rachel, if a tiny flask of oil can light up a menorah for 8 days, we each have a spark to light up the world. For a flickering moment, Rachel was speechless. Suddenly, screech! The tow truck pulled the dented van away, and to everyone's surprise, the menorah's candles were still glowing. A Hanukkah miracle live on Essex Street. Rachel, so it is New York. There's no Channel 8 in New York. What the hell? But I guess this is maybe the Orange Sands Synagogue over in, anywho. A Hanukkah miracle live on Essex Street, Ruckel reported. By the way, she's Rachel, but we're in DEI times, so she's probably got some mixed heritage going in there. Maybe she was her mom was at a Diddy party. We don't know. At last, Mendel arrived at the big Hanukkah bash. He felt as soggy as a leftover latke. Enough with the similes. The mitzvah mobile was the worst mess-up of all. Oi, Rabbi, Mendel sighed. I'm so sorry. Sorry? You should be proud, exclaimed Rabbi Klein. We saw you on the news. You told the whole world the story of Hanukkah. And that's what this holiday is all about, sharing the miracles. The crowd cheered for Mendel, the mighty Maccabee. Okay. Are Mendel's parents going to be paying for the broken mitzvah mobile? Well, all right, maybe it's insured, no fault insurance, except it's obviously his fault. Now, we won't go there. We're just going to say he's a hero because he got on the news. Well, in this day and age, maybe. That night, Mendel received the ultimate gift. He lit the giant menorah in front of City Hall. This time there were no sparklers. The only thing glowing brighter than all of the Hanukkah candles in town was Mendel's smile. And then he tripped and fell out of the thing, was in the hospital for a bunch of weeks, and he started having problems with his pelvis, and then he needed a hip replacement, and then he died before he was 30. But at least before then, happy story of Mendel's Hanukkah mess up. And by the way, I should have read, they always put the stuff you need to read first at the end of the book. This is on what? Because they're Jewish, they read this side? Here, a brief history of Hanukkah. Hanukkah celebrates the victory of a small band of Maccabees who saved the Jewish people from the mighty Syrian Greeks under the reign of King Antiochus in 165 BCE. The Hebrew word Hanukkah means dedication. The Maccabees rededicated the temple in Jerusalem, which had been defiled by the Syrian Greeks. And I've got a whole, in my cabinet, a whole defile on that. The Maccabees found one small flask of pure oil, enough to light the menorah for one night. Miraculously, the oil lasted for 8 nights. So the holiday is celebrated by lighting a Chanukah, a 9-branched menorah for 8 nights, and we add a new candle each of the 8 nights. Now the 9th candle, the middle one, the shamash, is used to light all the other candles. Jewish people around the world add to the celebration by singing songs, playing games like the Dreidel game, and eating foods fried in oil, because, oh boy, we don't want to live past 80. We eat foods like potato latkes and sufganiyot, the donuts I told you about before. And by driving the mitzvah mobile around town, Mendel is performing the mitzvah of Pirsumei Nisa, sharing the miracles of the holiday. And families often light their Hanukkah candles in front of a window for this reason. And they're also on the lookout for terrorists and rocks coming through so they can call and protect everyone. They have also information on how to play the Dreidel game. There's the glossary of what all the words mean, like oi, oi, oi in Yiddish means oh no. Oi, 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 I wish this were a better book. Nash, a light meal or snack. Yeah, we got one. Latka. Yeah? Latka, a pancake, usually made with potatoes and onion, fried in oil and traditionally eaten on Hanukkah with applesauce or sour cream. And then let us sing the song together to close out this Hanukkah story time with me, Rabbi Sol Solomon. Oh, no, too high. Oh, Chanukah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. And maybe hire a couple of Eurasian whores. Gather around the table, we'll give you a treat. Dreidels to play with, and latkes to eat. And while we're playing, the candles are burning low. I don't know the melody for this part. One for each night, they share the sweet light to remind us of days long ago. Well, I've been on Dave's long ago. I was on the very first episode of this program, and here I am 24 years later doing story time with you. Remember that I have a website. It's called ShalomDammit.com. So if you want to hear and read my complaining about Eurovision over again, you can go right there, or my almost 200 other rabbinical reflections, ShalomDammit.com. Also, my stage show, Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Me, that was done off Broadway. We have footage. We have the whole show. Go watch it at ShalomDammit.com, as well as my TV show, Shalom Dammit, Rabbi Sol Solomon's Peace love, and acid reflux hour, all available at my free, I should be making money off this, don't you think? But no, it's free, shalomdammit.com. Well, happy Hanukkah, damn it. Try and celebrate the holiday. Bring a little festivity, a little bit of light into your lives. And when you spin the dreidel, you can hope for a gimel. You might get a shin. We've all been getting a lot of shins this year. It's been a shinny year, quite honestly. But make the best of it as best you possibly can. Shalom uvracha to every one of me. Wait, I blew it. To every one of you. I'm like Mendel. From every one of me. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Sol Solomon here on Dave's Gone By. On this Saturday morning, it's about 10 to noon Eastern Time here in the Daverhood. We're about to do the last few minutes of this 1011th episode of the program, which we have nicknamed Schatz Creek, all in honor of our delightful guest in the Daverhood, the writer, the playwright, the poet, Matt Schatz. Thank him so much. Remember to get copies of his books. It's Dramaturgatory, Poems for Theater People is his new one, relatively new, that he just put out a second printing of. And then Shoes Last Longer in L.A. Both of them available wherever books are sold. And if you happen to be in the Palm Beach area, remember to go see the reading Bobby Rabagowitz and Allison Porchnick, which is being done at Palm Beach Drama Works on January 11th. Thank you also, of course, to Rabbi Sol Solomon. Remember, he has a Twitter feed at Rabbi Sol Solomon. Those are the folks, including my adorable and wonderful wife, who were on this particular episode of the show. But let us not forget some of the great people who have been guests on previous episodes of Dave's Gone By. Like, well, we'll tell you who. Okay, Vivaldi, come to an end there somewhere. Anywho, so these are folks who maybe they were on the show 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or just this past year. We thank all of them for being alumni and friends of the Daverhood. For example, want to let you know that Jane Siberry has a new single out. It's from her pending full CD, full LP, In the Thicket of Our Own Unconsciousness is the name of the album. The new single is called Bailout, and you can get that by going to her website and probably on YouTube as well. So delightful Jane Siberry joined us for our 1000th episode. So we're keeping very, very close tabs on the album that is imminent that she has been working on. I want to let you know that now through the middle of this, I'm sorry. It is the middle of December, but just now and tomorrow, Nancy Redman is in an off-Broadway show called Bum Bum. And that is playing at the Here Arts Center, 145 Spring Street. I still seem to, or was it Avenue of the Americas? I think it's on Avenue of the Americas near Spring Street or something like that. But it's downtown-y, and Nancy Redman is in it. Want to also let you know that Danny Burston is in Marjorie Prime on Broadway. It is being done by the Second Stage Theater at the Helen Hayes Theater, a Broadway house. Then letting you know that Christine Petty tonight is in her show called Snow Business at the Laurie Beachman Theater. So it's music and comedy from Christine Petty. Also today, Michael Colby doing his cast of characters featuring Ann Harada and some other performers. This is part of Urban Stages.
David, Marie said that she has raccoons in a lot of mornings in
Really? In Florida?
Florida, they have raccoons. Apparently, they're very common.
Whoa. Wow. But not in her, she sees them outside. They're not getting into her. Good, good. Ann Harada joining Michael Colby and cast of characters. That is at Urban Stages today or tonight. And then also, oh boy, if you are in Madison, Wisconsin, go see Art Paul Schlosser and friends at Cargo Coffee House. They're doing a concert there. That is in Madison on East Washington Street tonight. Then also, like all these things happening today, December 13th. Pablo Lewin, the comedian, is one of the comedians at, and this is in Los Angeles, at the Comedy Chateau. They're naming the evening America's Shit Show. I think that basically sums up the year. Pablo Lewin, that is tonight in Los Angeles. And Jessica Scher, she is doing her solo show once again, Betty Davis Ain't for Sissies, at the Triad Theater on West 72nd Street this evening. But she marked it on Facebook as her last one. I don't know if she meant it's the last one for the year, or last she's doing in New York or at the Triad. Is she retiring this show that she's been doing for like 15, 20 years? Don't know. But congratulations if she is. She's done it hundreds of times all over the country. So she's really, really gotten a lot out of Betty Davis Ain't for Sissies from our friend Jessica Scher. And then tomorrow, Sunday, happy birthday, by the way, to Brandon Maggart. I think his birthday is today. Tomorrow they're doing a birthday tribute concert at the Gardenia in California on Santa Monica Boulevard. Joining him will be his daughter, the singer Maud Maggart. She and he both joined us on our 1000th episode. And think about the bad news is like so many other places, the Gardenia is closing. So the Gardenia will be gone this time next year. Like cabaret places, it's more feasible.
I love Club 88's Cafe
88. 88's gone, Duplex is still around, I think.
Which is the one that gave Mom the cake?
Oh, that was the Ibis. That's long gone.
Oh, it was Egyptian, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah.
But anyway, so if you want to see even, not to mention Brandon Maggart, not to mention Maud Maggart, but the Gardenia room before it goes, go see it. And it's tomorrow, the Brandon Maggart tribute there. What do you need, babe?
My phone, I'm okay.
On Tuesday, the 16th, Michael Lydon, he passed a couple of months ago, so his wife Ellen Mendel has set up a tribute concert for him that is at the Triad on West 72nd Street in Manhattan on Tuesday night. And then on, was it Tuesday? 13, 14, and then the 18th, Thursday, Galinsky is hosting and creating poetry in New York. It's a poetry slam at the Book Club Bar on 3rd Street. You gotta love it that all these cabaret places, they close down, things run a long time and then go away, and we're nostalgic. And then you hear about all these little tiny hole-in-the-wall places that are doing theater and cabaret and poetry. And it's just like, things go on. New York always goes on somehow. What else? Christine Petty, we mentioned her. She's doing Snow Business on Saturday, and then she's doing it again on the 19th, this coming Friday, at the Laurie Beachman Theater. Karen Mason is in her cabaret show, Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. I hope she does a Hanukkah song or two. At the Green Room 42, that is happening Friday through next Sunday, the 19th through the 22nd. And then a reminder that Evan Seplow is the founder and editor of StageBuddy.com. Vicky Quaddy does Late Night Catechism and Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun at the Greenhouse Theater in Chicago and other places in the Chicagoland area. David Sheward writes theater reviews for TotalTheater.com. Everything Old is New Again. That is a radio show of cabaret songs and songs from the Great American Songbook. That is Sunday evenings on WBAI Radio, hosted by our friend David Kenny. Darren DeBebo has a brand new station and a brand new show called Noises from the Valley on WKZE, Friday evenings from 7 to 11. And then Eva Heinemann hosts High Drama the Theater Review Show, on her YouTube and Facebook pages. You can watch segments of them or the whole episodes. Charlie Gross and Leslie Hoban Blake host Two on the Aisle, also a theater review program that you can watch on YouTube. And Carol Miller on Q104.3 FM in New York, weeknights, 7 p.m. to midnight. So, yeah, all these wonderful friends of the Daverhood. Ooh. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's only 1 minute to noon Eastern Time here on the Dave's Gone By show. We should be finished. We've done so much. We've had our Dreidel game. We've had Rabbi Sol reading from Mendel's Chanukah Mess Up. We've had our Greeley Times segment. We had Rabbi Sol ranting about Eurovision. We also had, what else did we do? And of course, Matt Schatz conversed with Rabbi Sol about his career. So what else is there? Oh, I'll tell you what else there is. My friends, it wouldn't be a Dave's Gone By episode without a Colorado Limerick of the damned. I've been writing poems about all these different places in Colorado for many, many years. Have well over 300 of them at this point, and it's time for one more, and one more next week and the week after that. This week's place in Colorado, Cherry Creek. Probably heard of it. If you're from that region, and if you have a little bit of money, you've probably heard of Cherry Creek, Colorado. I'm going to tell you about it, and then I'm going to read a disgusting little poem all about it, just for you.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme, and likewise verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain.
So my wife and I did live in Colorado for a bit over a decade, and just got into my head like, hey, there's all these places in Colorado that are rhymable, and because I'm not a big poetry fan, but I'm a fan of amusing, whimsical, and disgusting poetry, and I thought, hey, I can do some of that myself. So I take all these places in Colorado and try to make a limerick out of them. This week, we go to Cherry Creek. So a little bit about the town. It's a ritzy neighborhood in the heart of Denver, really in the metro area. A mix of urban and suburban there. And even though it's like all these stores and things, there's also a creek running through the whole town, Cherry Creek. It's got an upscale mall and lots of other shopping there, 2 parks, a public library, 70 cafes and restaurants. You can tell that there's also sort of a Jewishy neighborhood at points because it's got 50 spas and salons. I get the 70 restaurants and eateries, but 50 spas and salons and probably nail things. Amazing. The average price of a home was nearly $700,000 in 2002. That should tell you something, right? Back then, homes were in the $750,000 range. And by the way, when you hear, though, about Cherry Creek State Park, that's actually in Aurora. It's not technically in Cherry Creek. But anyway...
We know somebody who lives there.
Who? Oh, she's actually in Cherry Creek? That's nice. Or maybe in Aurora. A friend of ours lives there. We went there one time. It was kind of cool. It was a little shishi for our taste, but fun to walk around. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring Cherry Creek down a peg or 2 or 5 by reading my new poem, A Colorado Limerick of the Damned, for Cherry Creek. A dowager in Cherry Creek went out with a most merry Greek, but down on all 4s, she screamed like 10 whores. Her asshole was so very weak. If you want to complain about that, and why wouldn't you, please send your email to davesgoneby@aol.com. davesgoneby@aol.com. AOL.com. I try and read every piece of mail that I get. I don't necessarily have time to write back. You can also message me right on our Facebook page, Dave's Gone By, whether directly messaging me or posting your thoughts under our programs and just sending me things that way. Well, yeah, like our great friend Marie does out in Florida. How's she feeling? She had to beg off a show she was going to see.
She doesn't say anything. She just talks about stuff. But I don't know. There's nothing. It's not personal. It just says like, she makes comments, but she doesn't talk about her life.
No, that's fine. But anywho, yeah, Dave's Gone By at AOL.com. We also have a Twitter feed or an X feed, Radio Dave 2. We've got a, what is it, a friggin' Blue Sky account for whatever reason.
Your interview with Gloria Gaynor, right? You posted that?
I posted, yeah. If you go to our Facebook page, you will see the interview that I did a few years ago with Gloria Gaynor, the, had a
Superstar.
great big hit. I posted that specifically because she was at the Kennedy. I love the sort of the hypocrisy here, or the sort of the what do we do here? Because she was one of the honorees at this year's Kennedy Center honors by this great wonderful honor from the president. But so many of the people that are on my Facebook feed are Democrats and left wing and despise President Trump and what he has done to the Kennedy Center. So they have nothing against Gloria Gaynor, except they feel that she should have turned down the honor like Sly Stallone should have and all these other people, because it was, Kennedy Center's in Trump land now. And they can't even be like, well, she had a great song and she had these other things and did her life and, it'd be nice to give her an award. It's like, no, we're not going to acknowledge anything from the Kennedy Center now. But I acknowledge she was a lovely interview. I interviewed her many years ago for Long Island Woman magazine, and I posted that up on Facebook this week. You can also read it and all my other writings at davelefkowitz.org. Dave, Lefkowitz, davelefkowitz.org. This is where you can read my song lyrics, my one-act plays, my screenplays, my full-length plays, my interviews, and my comical essays, the things I co-write with Rabbi Sol Solomon. DaveLefkowitz.org is a repository for hundreds and hundreds of my pieces of writing. So, give it a look. And just like davesgoneby.com is the place where the archives of the show are, DaveLefkowitz.org is the archive of my writing. And I'm proud of both of those sites. So do please check them out. Okay. Well, it is already a bit after noon Eastern Time on this Saturday, December 13th, 2025. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in on this pre-Hanukkah Saturday into the Daverhood for our 1011th edition of the show. I'm expecting that we will be back next week for our 1012th. We might have a special guest, might not. Don't know yet, but we'll see. And then ramping up towards the new year, we're probably also going to do our special New Year's Eve show. I think it's a Wednesday night this year. So you'll come join us and ring in the new year with us. I'm trying to figure out something different to do this year, and I just don't know what. So if you have suggestions for something special that my wife and I and you guys can do on the program on December 31st, Wednesday night, let me know. I really want to try something a little further afield than the usual. Anyway, thinking about it. So this, though, is the end of this episode. I think we need to hear him one more time. Instead of our usual theme going out. Hun, anything else you want to add?
No, I think it'll be fun.
Well, thank you again to Matt Schatz. Thank you to Rabbi Sol. Thank you to my wonderful, amazing, and ever so helpful wife. I mean, she, the decoration stuff, the balloon things, the bags there, that's all her, and helping me out in millions and millions of other ways as well.
I put the batteries in the llama.
She put the batteries in the llama. Everyone, all together, let's dance. We'll do one more. One more and gone by. So then we're going to do one more of the Dreidel game. I'm hoping it's a hey, we go out on a dad pun, but maybe not. Bad spin. Gimel. Now I don't remember if Gimel. Feed the potato. Let's feed the potato.
They had, they were neglected several times.
Let's give him his lunch catch-up. Here he is. Oh, good potato. See you next week.